gone. Oh, look, we're live. It's saying we're live.
Oh, yeah, live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. Yes, live. Live. We're live now. I'm not sure if we were live when I was saying we were live.
Hello, I'm looking at me and not the camera.
Yeah, that's actually very hard to not do. I find it. But there's also, if and when people start chatting, it'll appear in here. And now we're all ready to go. But this could be one of those magical moments. I don't know, people are dropping in and saying hello. Tendai and Catherine.
Hello, Tendai and Catherine. How you going?
So this ought to be a bit of an adventure because you can tell people all the gross details of things that have been happening.
have so many gross details of what's been going on. And through this live chat, I will be eating these crackers because they sustain me in my life.
Are you like eating a whole wedge of them at once, or
I'm
was that
eating
just
all of them.
Was that illustrative purposes? You're not jamming that whole thing in your bowl?
No, what I do is I put them in groups of 4.
Because he doesn't have OCD.
No, I don't. I have autism.
Which is, yeah. But I can still upset you with things. I know I was going to, I saw some stuff. It was like memes, pictures, people saying how to upset someone with OCD or autism. And I showed them to AIDzee and he almost cried. It was things like offering someone, do you want a bit of Kit Kat, like with the 4 strips, to go, I'm just going to have a bit, then you can have a bit. And the person expects you to break off a bit and you just bite the Kit Kat. And it's impossible for someone to take it after you do that.
It's wrong.
Or you have a really nice set of coloured pencils where they're all the same length and you've got the colour grading happening and you put them down and then you push one out of order.
Don't.
Yeah, I know you can't do it. Both Shadow Eyes and Will as well, by the way.
So mine are in a nice 4.
And
see,
I honestly, I
chunks.
won't mess them up.
They're in chunks.
He's got equally sized things. I'm gonna look.
Chunks like this.
I might snack on this because we were in the supermarket earlier. That's where we got the rice crackers, and we found there's actually such a thing as mac and cheese flavored potato chips.
That's true.
And they're actually pretty good. I got them because wow, that's weird. They smell very cheesy. There's lots of cheese powder on them.
Yeah.
I remember.
I'm not just eating to put it on starving kids in Africa, though I do laugh at them. Is that a wrong thing to say?
No. I mean, I got a wrong thing back when I wanted to work in journalism and I did work experience at a TV station. And they had this guide for, because we grew up, well, I was going to say we grew up in the country. Canberra is pretty much the country.
It was back then. It's not now. It was back then.
But I know it's very much
a very big country town.
And we both went to college in a country town.
Yeah.
The same place. That's where we met. People always ask where we met. We went to college, did the same course.
And it was college. It wasn't uni when we started.
No, it's a uni now. It's part of a uni now. But it was
a college of advanced education.
Yeah. And I did work experience. Used to actually have active country TV stations back in the day. Yeah. You basically don't anymore. They like fucking syndicate all the stuff from the metro stations.
Yeah.
But you had independent country TV stations when we were young. And I did work experience at one. And what they use, because they don't have the resources to have a whole bunch of people on their payroll and send them out there, they use freelancers, what they call stringers. In the remote towns, if someone had a video camera, they could shoot an event and sell the footage to the TV station. And I saw the guide for stringers. And one of them was never like shoot video of people eating because that's the grossest thing ever. And that's my long way of saying I'm completely conscious of watching us eat might not be the most pleasant thing, but we're going to do it anyway.
Hello, good people that have come, and thank you very much for letting me be on your device.
And Bobo's coming. Yes, every live stream, I always have to answer how you're doing. Everyone wants to know how you are. And although it can be kind of fun if there's a new person in the stream and they don't know you and they see all these people going, how's AIDzee? How's AIDzee? And what the fuck are you people?
What's an AIDzee?
Yeah, what's that? That sounds wrong.
What's an AIDzee and why hasn't this AIDzee been around for 4 months? Well,
because he's got things. Hey, you're about to go medical things, and you have your various things. Is alcohol a bad thing for you?
Well,
because you're on medication.
I'm not supposed to, but I will.
Because I was going to make a cocktail or two because it's Saturday night. Dun, 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 dun.
The drugs I am will fuck me up.
Yeah.
And
Prescription. These days, you don't abuse large amounts of over-the-counter medication.
I'm on no illicit forms of drugs.
Actually, what doctors said you can have.
I'm actually just on more of what doctors said I can. I'm on only what doctors said I can have.
Which is quite the turn up for the books. Like anyone who's never watched Code Grey, your show from the Melbourne Comedy Festival about your misadventures, it is on YouTube. Look up AIDzee Code Grey. You can see the whole show. And people think you were exaggerating, that at your worst, back in the day when they would sell packs of Nurofen Plus with codeine in them, in packs of 72.
72, those were the days.
And you would go through several packs in one sitting.
I would go through 3 packs in one sitting.
You had to like set aside 45 minutes because it just took that long to...
And every now and again you'd find a pack of 96.
Yes. They're big things.
And those were glorious days because you only needed 2 of those.
Bobo remembers... you can't have my chili cocktails, the ones that actually have chili oil in them.
No.
Because they'll kill you.
No, they will kill me. I'm allergic to capsaicin. And I have to, when I go to hospital, say no longer chili, but I say I'm allergic to capsaicin. Right. And the nurses have no idea what I'm talking about. And I say it's chili. But the doctors do, because more and more...
He knocked over. There's a minor disaster just happened. He knocked over one of his carefully structured piles. Everything's gone to hell. And hi, Michael and Justin and Chronic, by the way. So, but that's okay. He's going to get his neat, meticulous pile back in place, and
continue.
Stability will be returned to the world.
So. To the doctors, I say I'm allergic to capsaicin because capsaicin is more and more being used in medicine. Why, you say? Well, have you ever eaten a very hot chili and then eaten a less hot one and noticed that there's no sting there at all? Because what capsaicin does is it blocks your pain receptors so much that you can't actually feel any more pain. So they go, this capsaicin shit is fucking awesome for pain. These chronic pain sufferers should have capsaicin pumped into them on a major scale. AIDzee, come on over here. Why are your lips and mucal linings expanding?
Yeah. Oh, you gotta love that. First, you gotta love the username Milk My Man Tits. But he also wants to know what the sexy husky man bears are up to. So that's a good entry.
I had a blue this morning.
What, you and Jay?
Man, me and the boss of the house.
Him indoors.
Him indoors.
Yeah.
Who's never indoors.
No. But that just shows our age because we're quoting Minder.
Yeah.
Arthur Daly's wife never appeared on the show, even though he was married, and he would just always refer to her indoors.
Her indoors. No, him out of doors. Because he's a young bike riding sort of thing, and he's always prancing off on his bike, going, and he's going to make me a tricycle so I can go with him, which should be good. Because the only reason I don't really ride a bike is I have no balance and I hate them.
You hate bikes and bike riders, and one decent fall off a bike would make your body fall apart.
Oh yes, I've got osteoporosis. Because arthritis is the disease that keeps on giving. And in time that we have been apart, I broke my sternum and my rib. I only cracked my rib, and then 2 days later I sneezed and broke it.
Oh, that's not good.
And that sucked on a big way. And I said to my boyfriend, the boss of the house at the time, because I was only 5 weeks into no codeine at all. We had decided the date because he said no codeine from Monday. Yeah, we're good at deciding things. And I said, do you think we should drop the no codeine thing because I've got broken bones? And he's gone, no.
No, you have to stick with it.
Which is the code for no.
Yeah.
Because you've got to understand the boss of the house's codes. There's no. Yeah. And that's a 4-hour conversation.
That's a good question from Catherine. How did you crack the rib? Was that a misadventure, or is that just shit that happens?
I was running for a bus and I tripped over my own feet and fell. I threw my stick and fell down, arms up, because you don't want to put your arms out because you break
them. Yes.
So I turned my head to one side and landed on my chest to break my fall and went boom. And I thought, that's going to hurt come morning.
Holy Christ, that is the words of someone who falls over a lot.
And then I've realised what I've done here is fallen over in front of oncoming traffic. Get your ass up and go. So I got up and grabbed my stick and fell again. And that was when I heard my sternum go, no, not twice. Crack.
Oh, God damn.
And the people around me heard it go crack. And the person I was tutoring at the time heard it go crack. And he said, I thought you'd broken your jaw or your nose. And I'm going, no, it's my sternum. And it really hurts at the moment. And I've probably fractured a rib. And I had bits all out all over me.
Oh.
I get to the bus driver says, why did you run? And I've gone, well, sometimes you got to take a chance. I've got bits out all over me. I am pissing blood. And I casually open up my bag and get out my road first aid kit and then
start
cleaning up. I put alcohol wipes all over my wounds and then get dressings and put all over them. The people on the bus are shitting themselves in amazement because they see me come on as a mess and then they see me just patching up like it's nobody's business, and I'm continuing to tutor my individual, and then I get a plastic bag and put all the mess in that, seal it up and put it back in my bag and go on like nothing had happened.
Nice.
The x-ray later showed that shit had indeed happened.
It had happened.
And there's nothing they can do for broken ribs or sternum because you've got to breathe.
Yes.
So there's no cast you can put on.
It's a bit much.
But you can get really quite decent pain support unless you're a junkie.
And then they say you're not allowed to.
And then they say you're not allowed to. And then they say, no, your methadone's enough. And it's not already. So why would it be now?
Yeah, goddamn.
And so then I said to my boss of the house, can I have some codeine, please? And he said no. And I cried a little bit. Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm gonna make a cocktail. So you can continue to tell them about your gross legs.
Okay, so I've got very gross legs. Okay, what I've got is a lot of varicose veins. Okay, you get them. All my jobs in my life have been standing up, except for, oh no, that's not true. Most of Studio Angry stuff's been standing up.
Yeah,
most of it's been standing up. So most of my jobs I've ever had have been standing up. So I've got a lot of varicose veins. Well, they have started to pop. Now, I've also got a thing called insufficient veins. You've got a big fat vein running down the centre of your leg, down the centre of your calf, and your veins come into it, okay? Now, when your veins pop on their way in, what happens is the blood leaks out into your muscle and poisons your muscle.
I did say it was gross.
Right? And so that infects your muscle, and those infections run up to your skin, and they start out as a little thing that looks like a pimple with black around it, you know. You're thinking that's not nice, but you think I shouldn't squeeze that because it doesn't look right. And then they open up, and your skin has a wound in it the size of a 10-cent piece. For our American listeners, the size of a dime. For our English listeners, the size of a £1 piece. And what happens is they don't bleed per se, but they ooze blood. They ooze what's called serous fluid, which is basically muscle juice, right? So what you've got to imagine is all of these holes oozing muscle juice, which smells like off meat.
I feel like RC's jumped in with infected muscle AIDzee is the most disturbing of the AIDzee action figure range.
Yeah, with dots all over the legs.
Ugh.
And so I'm wearing compression stockings, which I hate because I'm claustrophobic. And I have on my left leg 14 big Band-Aids that are waterproof. And the medical term for these waterproof Band-Aids is my ass. And what's been happening is, and where this had to really start to get serious is my wounds have been oozing down into my socks.
Nice.
Doctors have been looking at these. And now, when this ooze first started to happen, they said, there is an infection here that is already very bad, and we think it might kill you. So you're going into intensive care. But before you go into intensive care, you've OD'd on methadone. And I go, that's pretty tricky to do since I pick up every day. And they go, we know. But because we're clever doctors, we've worked out your kidneys, which are shithouse because you've been taking Nurofen Plus for too long. It's the ibuprofen that'll do it to you.
Yeah.
And they only run at 25%. Yeah, it's still working. They only run at 25%. And what had happened was I hadn't been drinking enough water and I'd been drinking too much coffee. So the day before, I'd put down 8 coffees. And in the morning, I'd slam down 3 coffees, but there was no water. Coffee's a diuretic. Water fills you up and helps your kidneys along. And what had happened was I'd OD'd, and so they gave me a thing called Noxolone. It was a Noxolone. Now, they used to give junkies a thing called Narcan, okay, which will take you straight out of the high and, you know, let you live and stuff, right? So they gave me Noxolone, which takes you straight out of the high and also detoxes you in 20 minutes. So I was detoxed in 20 minutes. And this is from all of the, what do they call it? All of the methadone, all of the diazepam, all of the clonazepam, which is all high anxiety drugs, and all of the heart drugs, and all of,
these are all prescription meds we're talking about.
And all of the epilepsy drugs.
Yeah.
They all went in 20 minutes. And I was in so much pain that my eyes were continually flashing with white bursts of light. Now, what that's about is that your brain is experiencing so much input that it doesn't know how to make a context of it. So it just puts out things that maybe have a story involved, and there's so much going on that it gives your eyes just massive white bursts because everything else is going crazy. Put some in the eyes.
Yeah.
And eventually what happened was I felt like I was in a sphere of hard autumn leaves. They were red and orange, and they were yellow, and they were hard autumn leaves, and I was rolling around in that, and I was inside an oblong cuboid with a little tiny cube on the top, and that wasn't my body. I was squished around inside that shape, rolling around inside this sphere, being hit by insect legs every now and again. But I could also see the bed and what was going on around me, and I was rolling around inside the bed. I don't know if I was screaming, but the doctor came up about 3/4 of the way through and then rubbed me on the shoulder and said, "You poor man, you're detoxing from a lot of drugs. I feel for you, but it's going to be, it's going to eventually stop." Which is weird because just before I did that, I said in my head, "This too will pass."
Which is always true, no matter what you're talking
No
about.
matter what's going on in your life, no matter how shit it is, you can basically go, "This too will pass." And 20 minutes later, bang, I'm out of it. And I'm just like, ah. And the doctor came over and says, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel like I've been beaten up." He says, "Well, that's good. What day is it?" And I said, It's gotta be Monday, Tuesday. It's gotta be one of them." "Good. Where do you live?" I said, "At home." He said, "Yeah, a bit more specific, mate." So I gave him my address.
Yeah.
And he said, "What's your middle name?" I gave him my middle name. He says, "You're doing really good. Who's the Prime Minister?" And I went, "I don't know. That there's something Ross in there, but he's got hair plugs." And he went, "That'll do for me."
Actually, they've started to say that's a bad question to check people's alertness because of A, the degree to which Prime Minister changed, and B, the degree to which Morrison's a fucking non-entity.
Yeah.
And people don't remember him.
Yeah, he's a chair moistener until the next election.
Ooh, quick interruption. Are you going to have a bit of cocktail if I make one?
Hell yes.
All right. Continue then. I just wanted to know as I was making it.
What are you making?
This is a very desserty type one. It's got my chocolate vodka in it. And
oh yes,
Advocaat, which is like an egg-based liqueur, and I'll put a bit of lemon juice in it as well. So this is going to be a very desserty cocktail.
Lovely desserty cocktail.
Don't really have a name for it, so we could try and what would be a chocolate vodka dessert name.
Wherever AIDzee shows, to be sure to bring your airplane sick bags. I need one of those. I need one of those. They took me out of intensive care. Yeah. Oh, by the way, me and my GP had this thing. I walked out of intensive care 4 times. And he said, "Dude, you're a very lucky dude. You walked out of intensive care 4 times." Then I went back into intensive care again. And he said, "Dude, you walked out of intensive care 5 times. Let's not go for the record, okay?" And I went, "I'm not planning to go for the record, okay?" I said, "What is the record?" And he said, "It's 5. Okay? Just leave it as co-winner and don't do it again." And I'm going, "Okay, I won't do it again." And then I did it again. But they've got a lovely new intensive care ward. It's gorgeous. They've done it up and everything. It's in the new building. And so, yeah, I came out of intensive care for the 6th time, walked out, and walked over to GP and went, "How you doing?" And he went, "You little shit." And I said, well, why'd you put me in hospital? And he says, because you were off your guts. And I said, I thought it was about the hole in the legs. And he said, no, you were completely stoned. Boss of the house said you'd taken 18 very high-powered benzos.
Yeah.
And I said, no, he's forgetting the 15 that I'd put in the other bottle. I'd only taken 3. But I was completely shattered from the extra methadone. It was like topping up, no good at all. Cheers.
Cheers. That's pretty good. Mr. Grant Gregory thinks we're fancy for having a drink that has egg and lemon in it. I'm quite fond of this. This is the first time I've made this. I've probably made things similar to this in the past, but because I made the chocolate vodka quite recently.
There's too much of something. There's too much of something.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is of course going to come down to individual taste as well.
Mm.
But yes, and hello, Mr. Gonzo and Mr. Grant Gregory and Charlie. We didn't say hello. Kind of like a sour egg whip, you could call it that. They often, with the egg-based drinks, they often call them a flip. If it's got egg white in it,
yeah,
that is often called a fizz. And if it has egg yolk in it, they often call it a flip. So like a brandy flip, it has brandy and egg yolk and some other things in it.
Why flip and fizz?
I don't know. You know, it's just a thing that
Just Americans.
cocktail makers come up with. But that's a convention. It's like, you know, one of my favorite cocktails is the whiskey sour that has egg white. They don't call that a fizz, but it has egg white.
Do you know most cocktails that we know were made in the Prohibition?
That was when they were popular, yes.
And they did that because they didn't look like booze, and raiders would come through, and these guys would be drinking chocolate milk, or they would be drinking milk, or they would be drinking, you know, something.
Fruit juice, yes.
Fruit juice or something. And there was this famous lady who used to drink tea while she was watching jazz shows. And they'd bring her out this of tea. And she brought some young girls with her. And she said, do you care for some tea? And they said, well, we care for something stronger. She said, well, you should have some tea.
Try the tea.
And they brought them out some tea cups, and she poured them a tea. And it was, you know, tea. You could see it was tea. They drank it, and it was vodka and whiskey. And this woman would drink a pot of this every night while she was watching jazz and not get completely fucked up. Yeah. These girls who fucking who sat with her drank 3 of them and were dancing on their friggin' heads. They were shattered. And this woman used to she's very famous. I can't remember her name. But she's very, very famous as a patron of the arts and a pisshead of monstrous proportions.
Oh, yeah. Suddenly the writer I was trying to think of. All right, anyway. The good sports come in at 3 a.m. where you are. We are doing well. Fluffy Duck, Catherine, I was actually just trying to remember what's
sugar.
Where's
the sugar at?
I got sugar syrup here, which is probably an easier way to put it in. You think it should have some sugar in it?
Yeah, sugar.
Well, you probably want to get a little spoon or something to stir it if you want to do that.
Where's the spoon?
You've just gone there.
Spoon.
So I've just put a bit of sugar syrup in there so you can stir that up and see what you think.
Thanks, man.
Benny wants to know if we'd ever try moonshine. You wanted to make moonshine.
I made moonshine.
You wanted to, like, commercially make moonshine.
I did want to commercially make moonshine. I made moonshine. It was great.
What was your base for moonshine?
I mashed up corn and hemp
Okay.
Not smoking hemp,
No.
but gritty hemp.
Yeah.
And I mashed up oats, and I mashed up wheat.
Because the most common base for moonshine in the States is corn mash.
Yeah,
but it's grain. There's got to be some grain in it.
And I was trying to basically cover all my levels because I didn't know what would sprout.
Yes.
And so they all did. And I was thinking, shit, I'm in trouble here. They've all sprouted. And so I made a mash, and I tasted the mash, the beer, they call it. And I thought, this is fucking awful. And I'd better distill it. I'd better distill it and throw away the first 2 glasses because that's the heads.
Yes.
And taste it. It was like bleeding blood. And so I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get the mash. I'll put it in the bottom of the distill. And I'll put the still through again, the liquor through again. And I didn't know at the time, but that's how you do it. And it came out, and I had a guy who was, I was going to put it on me.
I do that then.
I had a guy who knew what he was doing come out and taste it and went, oh my God,
you've got it right.
You nailed it first time. And I went, oh, okay, cool. And so we made he tempered it for me. And I didn't know you had to temper it. Tempering is where you put water into the alcohol. Okay, so the first alcohol that comes through is really alcohol. You could use it for hospital cleaning.
Yeah, that's like that Polish rectified spirit, like 95. Basically, the most alcohol that can stay in solution without evaporating.
Yeah.
You do that, it tends to be somewhere between 85 and 95% alcohol. And that's like a base. Sensible people just use that as a base to make something else,
right?
Because that's too much on its own.
And the first 2 sort of cups is so toxic that you either throw it away or you use it as cleaner or fuel. And you can run jet engines on
rocket fuel, yeah.
You know, you can run jet engines on it. And you then get the rest of it and temper it. Now, the end of it is fairly weak, but the front of it's fairly strong. So you put water in it so that it all comes out evenly. And so I got this guy in to help me to temper it. And so he was the guy who called the shots. That's what's calling the shots. Is you're the guy who throws the toxic stuff away, and you call how hardcore the shots are, and he's calling the shots. So that's where that comes from.
Okay.
And he called the shots, and then we put some in a keg, like a little tiny keg, and aged it, and the rest we sold as White Lightning. And we shouldn't have sold it because that's really illegal.
That's super illegal, yes.
And we sold some for fuel.
Yeah.
Some guy wanted it for fuel, and you've got to denature it. And the way you denature it is you put petrol in it.
Yes.
And it's denatured.
There's a problem they have in Russia with that high-grade spirit, like 85, 95% spirit, being smuggled in to make bootleg vodka. And it's to cross borders, it's got to be denatured. So they're putting either petrol or like diesel in it, so it passes inspection. But then they're not fixing it when they're selling it to Russian people. So they're basically selling the Russian people poison. And that's how heavy the alcohol abuse in Russia is. People are willing to play this, well, let's call it Russian roulette, with this bootleg vodka. There is a reasonable chance a single bottle of it will kill you because it's poison. It's a good sport, down 10 pounds. I am too. I'm down about 10, 12 pounds since the start of the year. That's about 6 kilograms.
I haven't. I've put on about bloody 20.
Yeah, but that's your medication as well.
Yeah.
It was a good spirit. Oh, it looks outside. Current temperature, it's just over 20 Celsius here, so it's just a little bit warm.
Yeah.
It's got to be light out there for about another hour or so.
Yeah.
Just past 7 p.m. now. It was a very good day today. It was very, after an overcast start, it was very sunny and just pleasantly warm.
I can't drink any more of that. You should drink it.
All right, I will. Just wanted you to have a taste of it.
It's great, but I can't do it. There's something in it that's hurting me.
Okay.
Might even be the lemon juice.
Could be. I mean, Catherine was asking me about fluffy ducks, which I don't actually make, but I looked up what it is. So I knew. Apparently, there are two completely different drinks that get called fluffy ducks. They both have avocado in it, which I did have in this avocado, which is there's a rum-based one, white rum, which is white rum, avocado, and heavy cream. And there's a gin-based one, which is gin, avocado, orange liqueur. So you want, I guess, Cointreau or triple sec or something. And then it says a dash of orange juice and soda, and that's in a tall glass top of soda. So they're two very different drinks. I think the one I know is the white rum, avocado, heavy cream one. But
yeah, right.
I don't have any cream.
I've had a pink one.
A pink fluffy duck. That's probably got a dash of grenadine in it.
Yeah,
That'll
probably.
go in print. Mitchell wants to know how to watch TV shows like Game of Thrones without Foxtel because it costs too much. Yeah, well, there's the rub, buddy. The only legal way to watch Game of Thrones in Australia is to subscribe to Foxtel. Any other method of seeing it is illegal. Which I'm sure lots of people do.
If a mate taped it onto a hard drive for you and gave it to you, that would be illegal. If he got lots of movie off Netflix from his hard drive and put it on another hard drive and gave it to you, that would be illegal. So that's not the way to go if you want to watch lots and lots of television that way. If you have a mate that does that. Because you can get in lots of trouble if the police raid your house and find that you've got more than one hard drive. They can get very shirty.
Yeah, I know Catherine saying buy it on iTunes. Last I heard, and this happened a couple of years ago, Foxtel actually blocked it being individual episodes being sold on iTunes because they wanted to corner the market. Now, eventually, if you're willing to wait, you could, of course, get it when it's released on digital, either for download. That's like, 6 to 12 months after it airs.
Yeah.
So it's going to be spoiled. So if you want to watch it as it goes to air in Australia, it's either pay for the Foxtel subscription or do it illegally. And as Chronic asking about the free streaming sites, most of the well-known ones are blocked in Australia now. They keep popping up, but of course the fact is, if you do that, what you're doing is illegal, and there's a chance you'll get sprung for it, lose your internet access and that sort of thing.
Yeah, there is, and more and more actually. The ISPs, and not just in Australia, around the world, are being told to keep several years of your
browsing
history
and your downloads,
no matter if you're using a Tor browser or not. Now, everyone says, "Oh, Tor browsers are great. They're great because no one can track you." Well, buddy, they've gone from physical computer to physical computer.
Yeah, and it's like the people who go most of the people go, "Oh no, all my stuff's encrypted. They'll never do it," and they're talking out their ass half the time because you're going through the ISP. But even if you had absolutely flawless,
stop scratching.
Oh, you're scratching your leg. That's bad. Even if you had absolutely flawless encryption for your illegal downloads, so they couldn't see that you were illegally downloading. That's the equivalent of someone with dope growing in their house under grow lights, painting all their windows black so no one can see the blinding light from the grow lights. It's true, no one can see your grow lights, but you're the only house on the block with the windows painted black.
May I also talk to you about this thing called Enigma?
But even if you had successful encryption, what they see is all these gigabytes of downloads that they can't see what it is. So they know you're downloading something illegally.
Yeah.
They'll just bust you on that basis.
Mate, if you're downloading something huge, right, the federal coppers or the FBI or the Savachina can basically say, oh, he's obviously downloading child porn, kick the door in.
Oh yeah, they'll just physically get into your house if they can track all the traffic to your house. And yeah, if you had really super efficient scrambling and whatnot, and they might genuinely think that you were going to all that trouble because you were doing child porn, and they'll either kick down your door or get a warrant to sneak in when you're not home and put a physical tap on your computer.
Yeah.
Because that's how they've busted an enormous number of child porn rings. They get one person.
The thing is, right, it's so expensive to do that shit that once they do it, they've got to come home with something, anything, to prove that their expense that they paid is worthwhile. So if you've just been downloading movies, they've got to get you on that, because to kick in someone's door or to put a live tap on someone's internet is so expensive that they've got to show something for the budget. They've got to show something.
They need a result, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're it.
They'll get you on a technicality. The people who think, oh, if you're not doing anything wrong, you've got nothing to hide. Like, no, fuck it, man. If you get in the crosshairs of the people in authority, whether that's politicians or cops, you're just fucked. So it goes right back to that quote attributed to Cardinal Richelieu, give me 6 lines written by any man and I'll find an excuse to hang him. And that has always been the way of authoritarians. It's like, oh no, if I want to get him, I'll get him. Yeah. You know, your recent history, like England with their troubles with the IRA.
Yeah.
If they decided, and this was notoriously the Guildford 4, the Birmingham 6, people who were completely innocent but were rounded up by the anti-terrorism mob and said, you're responsible for these IRA bombings. They just doctored all the evidence in court. The basically normal household cleaning products.
There were 3 kids in, I can't remember the state, who were done for killing 3 children, right? 2 of those kids weren't at the scene, and there's no physical evidence that they were ever there. One of the kids was mentally retarded, and you can see that he's mentally retarded. And by the time they had them in custody and questioned for 14 hours without a break, they got a confession from the mentally retarded kid, and they had to prompt him through the confession. You can hear it on tape.
Yeah.
You were there at what time? 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, and it was nighttime. Daytime. It was daytime, and you can hear him prompting, and he's like, signed this thing.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are in it now because he signed that they were there.
Yeah.
And they've said nothing and said, I didn't do nothing. I did nothing. I wasn't there. I did nothing. I wasn't there. And they were in jail for 12 years until it was found that the father of one of the boys had his DNA all over the bodies of the boys. And it was him.
Yeah.
And
but law enforcement is absolutely shameless.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to do some rinsing while you entertain the people.
Righto. So I'm in intensive care going, what the fuck am I doing here?
Good. Yeah.
And they're putting lots of antibiotics in me. And then they started biopsying the holes, right? So they come with these big friggin' needles and these big friggin' syringes, and I'm going, what are you doing at? And you're going, oh, we're biopsying your infections. And you know how needles, they do this, right? These fuckers were doing this. Like, you know, I'm going, no, you do this. And they go, no, whack. And I'm going, that's going to the bone. And they went, yeah, it's supposed to go to the bone. We're supposed to get a little bit of your bone and all of it.
Oh, no.
I'm going, are you going to give me any pain relief because of that? Oh, you've had your methadone, you'll be fine. No, I won't. I'm not. I really don't do it again. They're going, no, we've only got 6 to go. And I'm going, no more until you get some decent morphine going on, or we're not playing the game. I'm running away and I'm weeing on the halls. And I said, that'll be interesting because you've got a catheter in. I said, aha, but I've got a bag and I know where the valve is. And they've gone, okay.
You're a troublesome individual.
We'll give you some methadone. We'll give you some pain relief. And they're really good about it. They gave me some intravenous morphine and quite lots of it. And then they gave me some intravenous benzos and quite a lot of it. And I was going, see, this is how we treat someone in intensive care. This is how it's done. I love you. You may stick your needles in. Fuck, that hurt. And so did that. And that one hurt. And that one, I can see the bone in that one. I mean, you're supposed to see the bone. That's what we're trying to get. And so my right and left leg have little tiny bits of bone out of them. And in one of my legs, right, because I've got osteoporosis, they've stuck it in, because they've got to stick it in fairly hard because they've got to get the bone, right? They've stuck it in and the needle has gone right all the way through and jammed into the hole, and they've gone, oh dear. Oh dear. And the needle has come out the other side.
God damn.
And I've gone,
you're a mess.
That wasn't meant to happen, was it? And they've gone, no, we do it all the time. And I've gone, no, that wasn't meant to happen, was it? They've gone, well, we haven't accounted for how osteoporotic you really are.
Oh my God.
Now the trick is we've got to take it out. And I've gone, well, it can't hurt more than went in. They said, you would be surprised.
Oh.
And then they've said, get more morphine and we'd like some midazolam. Now, midazolam is a benzo, but what it does is it makes you forget. Okay?
Makes you forget.
It makes you forget. It calms you right down, but it makes you forget. And so they've hit me with morphine, and I'm going, oh, yeah, I'm not.
Oh, God.
You could say. Then they've hit me with a midazolam, and I remember waking up 2 hours later with my leg neatly patched.
So you literally didn't remember what horrible things they did to you.
I literally have no idea. What I do remember noticing that the hole that they put it in, which was about 5-cent piece. So let's think about
how much that
is in American money.
I'm going to say hello to Gecko and Aussie Brick Chicken Stella, who dropped in too. So if
let's say it's 8 millimeters, which is the size of a fat cigarette, right?
Yes.
That was what it was. And then when it was I was awake and we redressed it, it was the size of a silver dollar.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? It was the size of a 50-cent piece. That was what they had to do to get it out. And I was just going, shit. I'm glad I was asleep through that.
Yeah.
And the nurse, because when you're in intensive care in Australia, there's a nurse looking at you all the time. And the nurse said, yes, you did rather complain when it came out. And I said, was there choice language? Not only choice language, you tried to restrain them. And I said,
there's a fight.
Was I restrained? Yes, quite readily.
I like Benny's line, if you had a theme song, it'd be Cruel, Cruel World by Willie Nelson. Hey, if I made a really different sort of cocktail, are you going to try that?
What kind of cocktail?
Well, we picked up this little book today, and there's one I like to call a 20th century, which has gin and a few other things. They said, hey, if you swap the gin out for whiskey, we call it a 19th century. So, and I've got some rye whiskey there. I was thinking of maybe like a rye whiskey based thing.
What about, have you got any gin?
Any what?
Gin.
Gin, yes, okay. Well, if we do it with gin, it's a 20th century. All right, we'll do a 20th century then. That's actually gin. Well, that's flavored.
What's it flavored with?
This is like orange mandarin, rock candy.
Yeah, we'll go there.
So, all right. So, okay, I'm gonna make us a 20th century. I should have rinsed this too. Still full of the advocate. So give me 5 seconds and I'll go off camera again.
Right, so I was in intensive care for like 3 days, and then I said, can I have a smoke? And they said no. And then I said, can I have a smoke? And they said no. Can I have a vape? It's not smoke, it's vape. And they said no. And then I said, can I have a vape? And they said no. And then and then they took me out of intensive care and took me out to the ward, and I'm going, yes, no problem. And I was up there with a 98-year-old man who was the grumpiest motherfucker you've ever seen, heard, or had to experience in your life. And he wore sunglasses the entire time because everything was too bright for him. And I was up there also with a Serbian man who had very little English and who hated the 90-year-old. Oh, sorry. How's that?
Yeah, cool.
You good?
Yeah.
Who hated the 98-year-old man.
Well, that sounds like fun.
And was disturbed that I was a poof. He didn't know that until the boss of the house turned up, and he worked it out, and we kissed.
Oh no.
Yes, and he was just going, I don't like that. I'm not happy with that. It's not right. That doesn't fit with my idea of what's good. And then he's not talked to me for the entire time, and I'm thinking, great. So I've asked the nurses, can I have a vape? And they've gone, no. Can I have a vape? And they've gone, no. Can I have a vape? No. Can I vape? No. So I vaped inside the hospital. And the way you do it is this. You hold your vape like that, right? And you can see there's an end to it. And then you write with it for a little while. And then
so it's a pen.
And
The way people do tend to put pens in their mouth.
And then you put your hand up and you write again, write again, write again, write again. And you can see that there's no smoke if you hold it in your lungs long enough.
Yeah.
And of course it's steam. So when you see these big puffy bloody vaporizers and they're like big clouds of bloody smoke everywhere, and it's like, please look at me.
There are guys who even go, learn how to do vape tricks, and they blow vape smoke rings that they can push around and whatnot.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
everyone wants to know if there's more Flappy Dogs in there. Flappy Dogs was a bit of a one-off, really.
Well, I tell you what, I've come to understand hallucinations. I'm just going to go to the toilet and come back and tell you all about hallucinations.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I'm going to take 2 of my sustaining
Mitchell, do I think the billionaire-owned Australian government is corrupt? I think our current government is shit. I'm going to make a whole video about billionaires because there's been a whole bunch of ridiculous bullshit in the last couple of weeks published about, oh, people are too mean to billionaires, and oh, being mean to billionaires is the new blackface. It's like, fuck off. Being a billionaire is deeply immoral. You can only be a billionaire by actively fucking people over. So the billionaires are not benign. Billionaires got where they are by screwing people over. And I think we also fall into this trap of thinking a million, billion, they sound the same. But for instance, I did this. I saw someone point this out. I did the calculation. I get my little calculator out because you fall into the trap of thinking million and billion are kind of the same thing, and they're really not. Because, okay, let's say a million seconds. A million seconds, so you divide that by 60, that's almost 17,000 minutes. Divide that by 60. Oh, wait, no, I just multiplied. So, okay, divide that by 60. It's almost 17,000 minutes. Divide that by 60, and that's 277 hours. Divide that by 24. Man, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. I've only had one cocktail. Why can't I hit buttons after one cocktail? So a million divided by 60 equals, okay, so it's 277 hours divided by 24. It's only about 11 and a half days, okay? A million seconds is only about 11 and a half days. A billion seconds is almost 32 years. That's the fucking difference. We get tricked into thinking there's not that big a difference between a millionaire and a billionaire, but a million seconds is 11 and a half days, and a billion seconds is almost 32 fucking years.
Is there English billions or American billions?
And that's even the American billions, 1,000 million, whereas the old original idea of billion was a million. So just the American one, the 1,000 million. And you can phrase it all sorts of ways. Say you had $1 billion and it was in a modest interest-bearing account, nothing outlandish, like a bank account, gives you 3 to 5% a year. Right?
3 to 5.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
If you spent $100,000 a day, okay, so over 365 days, that's 365 times, God, my brain just stopped working. 100, that's 3. It would take you essentially 3 years of spending $100,000 a day to spend $1 billion. And if you were doing something like wacky and crazy, like spending $1,000 a day, well, it's 100 times that. So it'd take you 3 centuries to spend $1 billion. So in other words, the idea that billion is just a number. No. Anyone who has $1 billion is an evil fucking exploiter. And I intend to do a very big rant about...
Can we be evil exploiters?
I'd love to be.
How would you guys like to do some sexual favors
for us? Yeah.
On some very well-appointed streets.
Yeah, we could turn it.
We will supply ice for your consumption. Actually, you will. And yeah.
Michael Kearney's asking if you remember him, AIDzee. Michael, from where would AIDzee remember you? Throw that. Catherine, 32. So you're like 1 billion seconds old, Catherine. That's a fun. Nice. That's a fun fact, isn't it? You've passed 1 billion seconds.
Well done, you. You know, my fucking parents congratulated me at my 30th birthday and said we didn't think you were going to live to 25.
Fair.
Buggers.
No, fair. By the way, you try your 20th century, see if you like it.
I'm a 20th century.
Pretty goddamn good. And I'll punish myself into drinking yours if you don't like it. But you know.
No, I like it.
Yeah, it's a good one. There are variants of the 20th century called the 21st century and the 30th century. And one of the variants is swap out the gin white tequila and add absinthe is another one.
Oh, I can't have absinthe. I am just
something about the herbs in it.
No, it's the aniseed. I just can't
Aniseeds.
stand
You're
it.
not. Oh my god! I remember years ago. Like this is. Where is it? I don't even know where my fucking. Oh, it's up there. My red absinthe is up there. It's a mere 75% alcohol. I had the black absinthe at your place for New Year's Eve. I don't. Christ, ages ago.
Long time.
More than 5 years ago, anyway. And it's 85% alcohol.
Why do I remember Michael Kearney? I do remember Michael Kearney.
And
Michael.
Oh, your girling's mate, Michael Carney.
Yeah, Carney. Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a bow tie. Because you had to have I won't say where because people will fucking shit themselves. You had a night out at the Brotherhood.
Oh, right. Okay. That's shenanigans. So Benny says he's going to buy a plane ticket to Australia to give us sexual. So he's saying like that's a hardship, but we expect it, Benny. We expect it that you will get a plane ticket to Australia.
You better make it quick because I might not be around.
Yeah.
Do you know they're going to surge me? They're going to surge me up.
For the varicose veins?
The varicose veins. Fuck. They're going to take 86 varicose veins out of my legs.
Yeah. Holy for shiz.
I might wake up without any fucking legs. They might like cut them out and go, there's no fucking legs.
His legs are fucked.
There's nothing left here. Just fucking slice it there.
But you've always come out ahead. Like, there was that one thing where there was like a cancer type infection in your jaw and they were going to do surgery. And it was either remove a couple teeth and a bit of bone, or you might wake up like that famous movie critic with no actual jaw. And
they said to me, because they said I had a cheek out to here. You remember that?
Yeah, the horrible infection.
Out to here, right? And I've gone to the hospital and gone, issue. And they've gone, oh no, it's dental. Go off to the dentist.
Yes.
And I've gone off to the dentist and I've gone, issue. And they've gone, no.
That's medical.
No, that's off to the hospital with you. And I've gone back to the hospital and they've gone dental. No, they sent me back to you. And they said, well, it's an infection here. Have these pills. You'll be right.
Jesus. It was like antibiotics or
Antibiotics,
something.
right? And I've eaten them all and I'm going, getting bigger. And I was smoking a cigarette. I was still smoking at the time. Now, you've got to understand, from my point of view, what had happened is that it came through my teeth, okay? What actually happened was the infection blew a hole through my jaw, okay? And they found fossilized remains of people with this, okay? It blew a hole through my jaw and came up through my gums. And as I was smoking, went bang and hurt just a little bit as it happened. And then the relief, right, of this thing coming down. And then I'm spitting all of this nastiness and corruption out of my mouth and going, oh, that's not right. And I'm talking to this bloody business student, what do they call them? Master MBA student.
Yeah.
And I've gone, floor pizza. And I've gone sick and I've gone and got empty Makona jar, one of the big ones, and smoked, sucked more in, spitting it out, and sucked as much as I could. He didn't stop talking 1 second.
That's MBAs for you.
He didn't miss a beat. He just kept on talking as I'm like, making this horrible fucking stuff come out of my head and my cheek comes right down. So I go back to the hospital and go, it exploded and they went, oh, it's not fun now. And so they kept on trying to produce the nastiness so they could get a swab of it. And they kept on like squeezing my teeth. And I said, look, maybe this will help. And I've like gone, oh. And it's gone gushing out. And they're going, oh, yeah, cool. Now, they x-rayed it before, but they couldn't sort of find anything. Then they x-rayed it again. And they went, oh. And then they did a fMRI scan. And I said, I'm not going in a scanner. And they said, it's just your head. It's just your head. They're going,
It's your claustrophobia
it's
kicking
my
in.
claustrophobia kicking in. And they went, oh, yeah. It's a PET scanner. And they went, oh, right. Yeah, out you come. Hey, guess what, matey? You're having an operation tomorrow. Went tomorrow, and they said, yeah, tomorrow. Have you eaten anything since lunch? Went, no, might be tonight.
God damn.
And I've gone, oh, yeah, all right, I'm good. And they went, no, it's not going to be tonight, it's going to be tomorrow morning. And they said, you're not to eat dinner and you're not to eat breakfast. And I'm going, that's a bit of a rip-off. Can I drink anything? No. What about water? Only to have your meds. And I went, yeah, meds me up. And they did at that point, meds me up big time. And they said, right, after this operation, be ready for a broken jaw, be ready for a missing piece of jaw, be ready for no bottom jaw. And I'm going, that sucks as a concept. But they did a really good job, and they ground out a piece of jaw and left me 5 millimeters of jaw under the pieces they've ground out. Now, they took the teeth from there to the back of my head at the bottom are all gone. So the ones at the top were fucking useless, and they left them there. And they cut the cancer out because it was necrotizing my jaw. And then they said, oh, you've got osteoporosis. We're going to take all your teeth out.
So you got your beautiful dentures now. They look fantastic.
Well, they said we're going to take all your teeth out, and we're going to give you drugs for osteoporosis, which gives you necrotizing jaws. You've already had a necrotizing jaw, so you've got to have no teeth.
Right.
So I thought, oh, they're going to do that straight away. 3.5 years it took.
There was a big delay. Yeah.
3.5 years it took for them to take my teeth out, and I thought, oh, now I'm going to have to get teeth in.
Which you can go back and look at some of our videos as your teeth were slowly rotting away, and it's a bit of a tasty look.
They were special. They were special.
Look.
As they were rotting away. Because what happened was they were all pushed together when I was a kid, and they cracked on the inside.
Yeah.
And I would wash them on a brush on the outside, clean, but they were rotting on the inside. And so every now and again one would explode and they'd rip it out, and just slowly they were just disintegrating. And I looked fucking terrible. Anyway, so and that's my old man's fault, because I went to the orthodontist and said, and he said, oh, your teeth are fucked and they're going to crack. And, you know, you got to get your teeth redone and braces and the whole bit. And he said it's going to cost 18 grand. And my old man said, that's the cost of a small car. Can you chew? I went, yeah. He said, well, you're not getting that then.
You have a bit of a view of your old man being cheap, don't you?
Yes.
A quick hello to my lovely dame and Enjoy the Struggle as well, who've joined the stream.
And joke's on him. They all rotted out of my head.
Yeah.
Joke's on him.
Yes, it's on him. It's definitely on him.
Anyway, I was expecting to wait for the teeth, you know, because
we thought that was going to take like a year or more.
7-8 grand's worth of work. So I rocked up to the dental hospital, which they don't give you teeth until all your teeth are gone. So I had to wait until all my teeth were gone. And so as soon as I could walk after my teeth were gone, I've gone up to them and said, my teeth are all gone. Can I have some more teeth, please? And they're going, yeah, I'll put you on the list. And I'm going, okay, it's another 3 years. I'll have to get used to it. And I said, oh, look, I know you're a teaching hospital. If the students want to have a go at it, get them in, you know, it's all good. I'm
And,
good with
that pricked their ears up.
And then they went, really? And I went, well, yeah. And they went, oh, come in next week. And I go, what? And they come in next week on Wednesday. So I've come in next week, met my dentist, my prosthetist. My prosthetist. And the lovely Sarah. And I've said, so ballpark, how long can I wait for my teeth? And she said, all right, if we're going really well, between 6 and 10 weeks. I'm going, fuck me, it took me 3.5 years to get rid of them. And it's going to take me 10 weeks to get them. Bullshit, I was out of there in 6 weeks.
Yeah, that was really, like, we were seriously expecting it to take a year or two for you to get dentures, and it took, 6 weeks.
6 weeks, and I was gone. And they have to be resized every now and again. And they bounce around a bit, but no, they're pretty fucking good.
I enjoy the struggle, saying he admires you speaking openly. If it was him, he'd huddle in the corner and whimper. You've done a bit of that, though.
Huddling in the corner and whimpering.
Yeah.
Well, when I had my teeth out, I was a bit sore, and I had been on some drugs before I came to the hospital.
Yes,
some drugs. A few.
Yeah, and the frowned upon type.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I expected to be in hospital between 3, maybe 5 days. I was there 3 weeks. And about the 2.5 week, I went out front with, I'd had my teeth out and I was sore. And I had some pain relief. And I went out with my friend to have a cigarette and talk about good times. And all these Aztec symbols and writing started to flow over the road and the walls and everything. And I went and turned to my friend and said, I am tripping off my balls. Except all he heard was, I am tripped. And then I went into a seizure. And then I came out of the seizure and said, my balls.
Sorry, I'm just imagining you with some medical staff around you. You've been unconscious for however long, and your eyes snap open, and you go, "My balls!"
And then they went, and I'm in the ED at this point because I dragged my ass back into emergency. And they said, "How long since you used?" I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, I resemble that comment.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
How very dare you.
How very dare you.
And they suggest that your blood tests are accurate.
And they said, we've done the blood test. We know you've had an opioid withdrawal shock. When was the last time you used? And I said, before I come out of hospital.
Yes, 5 minutes before I showed up.
Right. And they've gone, well, it's no good. You're in, it nearly killed you. And I'm going, well, so many things have.
Yeah. There were a few comments earlier, like the fact you're not permanently dead lends credence to the suggestion that you're indestructible. You're damageable, certainly.
Oh, fuck yes.
You take damage.
Oh, I do. Roller crit.
Yeah.
No,
but you take the whole critical hits right on the chin. It's like you cop a whole bunch of them.
I'm the NPC that checks for traps.
Yeah. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Yeah. Yeah, I am the London Symphony. But anyway, I'm sitting in there in the ward, like my teeth are just been taken out. I've just had fucking tooth surgery, and drugs and alcohol turn up and say, okay, so here's the thing. You can go on the program or you can have no pain medication whatsoever.
Ooh.
And I've gone, so my choices are having had tooth surgery and jaw surgery that's still surprisingly painful.
Yes.
To leave that alone and live with that, or sign up with you. And they've gone, yes, that is your options. And I've gone, right. Let me think about that. I better sign up with you, huh?
Yeah.
So we thought that'd be the option you'd take.
It's like they act as if they're giving you a choice, but not really.
Fucking railroading into that one.
Not really.
Anyway, some good things came out of it. I stopped taking shitloads of drugs.
Which is remarkable because you took fucking shitload.
Shitload of drugs. Like, and what it wasn't I wasn't looking for the high. This is the difference.
It was just pain deadening.
It was just pain deadening because I wanted to I wanted to continue being an active, productive member of society, right? I didn't want to sit in my bed all day complaining and whinging and crying.
That was the thing that amazed me. Like, you eventually went on their pain programs, like this counseling thing for people with chronic pain. And virtually everyone else on the program just wanted to be able to exist and watch daytime TV. And you wanted to do, like, we were in the midst of doing shit on YouTube, like, and you wanted to do more. You're even like a normal person's desire of things to do, yours was up here. Whereas everyone else in the program, normal person's here, they're here. They're just like, I'd like to lie on the lounge watching daytime TV without crying.
And it's not good enough. It's never good enough. You've got to fucking kick it in the balls. You've got to kick it in the neck. You know, I come from being a comic. And in the world of comedy, you can't sit on your ass. You've got to fucking get up in the morning. You've got to write jokes that are fucking reasonably sensible to your audience. It's got to be about moving them from one emotional place to a new emotional place and to take them on a journey away from their current existence to a better plane of existence, right? That's what it's got to be about. It's not about you, it's about them. And to do that, you've got to work at it. You've got to slave over jokes. You've got to make ideas real and alive. You've got to love the idea of snot and hurt and pain and hate and fucking and life and birds and wind and all the sensations of being alive and laughing at the face of death, right? Being a comic is coming up to the abyss, jumping in, building wings and flying out the other side to applause. Being a good comic is taking the audience to look over the side. Being a great comic is getting them to come with you. And that's the idea. You get them to jump with you and you build your wings and you fly out the other side, and it's a roller coaster of experience and wonderfulness. And people get up in the morning way too early and they put on clothes that are uncomfortable and they get in fucking cars and they sit in traffic for 2.5 hours and they do fucking jobs for 8.5 hours that suck to people that aren't nearly as qualified to fucking scrape the smegma out of their asshole, and then they get in their cars and they drive 2.5 hours through traffic home to bloody kids who are on the fucking PlayStation and won't say hello to them, and a wife that goes grunt, what do you want for dinner, because it's meatloaf again, and then you have a shower and watch shit TV on whatever channel you like, and it's those people that are sitting in front of you, and it's those people that you've got to give at least a wonderful time to. Because if it was me doing that, I'd climb a clock tower and start shooting motherfuckers. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I am the one that takes the drugs, fucks the people, and falls out of airplanes for you, so that you can live your life vicariously for 2.5 hours while I'm doing a show. That's the point. And that's why I took all the drugs, so that I could keep on doing that, so that I could keep on telling jokes. The high, it wasn't about the high. Though it was fun and I did like it. No one's saying I didn't. I rejected it. But it wasn't about that. It was about more than that. It was about, kicking life in the dick. And through it,
kicking death in the dick, because if you've ever breathed once, you've beaten death. If you've ever done anything, if you've ever been alive, then you've beaten death. And so just being alive, you beat death. Eventually death catches up with you. But as long as you keep the score even, you're winning.
Yeah. As the kids say, I feel personally attacked by this relatable content. Not the really bad stuff, but the stuff about going to jobs I don't like. Yeah.
Yeah. But mate, you know, if people didn't do it, then I could do it. So
Yeah.
I am grateful.
It is part
fucking
of
grateful.
It's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's like entertainers don't exist in a vacuum. Entertainers
Some of them
exist.
fucking do.
Well, yes, there is bad ones too. But entertainment exists because it's symbiosis with everyone else. It's like we talked before about the modern entertainer is the offspring of the shaman, the person in the cave in the dead of winter who keeps everyone around the fire and tells them stories that give them hope. Because without the stories, without the hope, people lose the will to live. They go, winter is cold, there is no food, there are predators outside the cave, we're all going to fucking die, there's no point in existence. The shaman tells the stories that keep the people together. And that's what the modern day entertainer is. The modern day entertainer is a direct descendant of the shaman who told the stories around the campfire to keep fear at bay. The shaman doesn't mean that predators don't exist. The predators still exist outside the cave, outside the safety of the ring of fire. But without the person telling everyone the stories that there's hope, there's a future, we're going to make it through it, everyone gives up. The tribe dies, and society collapses. And that's modern day entertainers are a direct descendant of that.
Fucking right. And the other thing is that modern day entertainers have forgotten that they are the servant class. Entertainers are the servant class. And
yes, you're not the rulers.
You're not the rulers, you're the servants. You come around the fucking servants' entrance.
Yeah.
And remember that.
Yeah.
Because those people sitting down in the audience, they don't need you, you need them.
Yeah. Quick hello to Will Spain, and I will throw that through. Like, often people in the arts, now look, we're both involved in creating things. We create things together, and it's for you. To a large extent, it's for us. We feel compelled to do it.
Yeah.
But it's for you as an audience. And a big problem is every now and then, and I'd like your take on this, but I have a problem with people involved in the arts going, oh, well, you wouldn't expect a plumber to go and fix your toilet without being paid. Why do you have a problem, with someone in the arts wanting to be paid? So you have to establish your value to the audience, because you don't own the audience. The audience owns you, and you need to make that audience 100% convinced that they need you.
Does a 3.5-year apprenticeship. A comic does a 7-year apprenticeship. If you are not prepared to do your apprenticeship, then don't expect to get paid. This stuff that we do is technical. It's not talented, right? I am not a talented guy. I'm a skilled guy. I put block of skill on block of skill on block of skill. That's how it works, right? I didn't magically come out of the egg like Monkey, knowing all of the magic tricks. I had to learn them one by one.
Although your nature is irrepressible.
Irrepressible, yes, true. Now the song's in my head.
Born from an egg on a mountain top. Monkey is funky as ever. There's been a reimagining of that. That's a joint. Monkey's a Chinese story. Huh?
It's actually a Buddhist story.
Yeah.
That was thought to be started to be told in BC 400. It was written down in AD 650 from all of the different monkey stories. And the monkey stories were about basically getting little kid monks who have been fucking meditating for 8 hours a day and who are scratchy and tired and have just had their dinner and they're still full of energy and they're tired and they're about to go to bed and they're just like they're you know how kids get, right? And so the monks, the head monks, or the middle-sized monks would say, now, kids, sit down. I've got to tell you a very important story. There was a monk, a very good monk. He was a brilliant monk. He was the goodest monk in all of the land. His name was Tripitaka. And he came from a monastery not unlike this one.
Yes.
And the emperor of all of the land said to Tripitaka, you must go on a journey. A difficult journey.
Journey to the east.
A journey to the east to pick up the sacred scrolls and bring them back so that everybody might learn Buddhism. How sad would it be if everybody didn't know Buddhism? And so all the kids by this time are sucked in. And then, of course, Monkey turns up and he's given the golden band around his head so that Tripitaka can make sure he behaves. And then Monkey and Pigsy and
Sandy, the water god.
Actually, a kappa. It wasn't Sandy, it was a kappa. It's a yokai.
No, I know you're going for the traditional one. I'm just going for the TV show that I watched non-stop as a kid.
As a kid, yeah. Because we had it for like 5 runs.
Oh, God. And the ABC just used to repeat it again and again. Never got sick of it.
It's Bible stories for Buddhist kids.
Yeah.
And so basically it was adventurous and it was wonderful. But at the end, there was a moral to the story. At the end of each story, there was a moral to it. And basically, at the end of the story, everyone gets a little bit of something that they want. And Monkey starts to learn calm, and Tripitaka has gone through a real change in understanding that the world shows you different things and that you can actually preach to anyone. Because everyone's different, and that's okay. Everyone's allowed to be different.
Yeah.
Sandy works out that the sea is a wide and wonderful place, and that you can talk to things. And Pigsy works out that you can talk to large groups of women with respect, because he was always the one that wanted to root every woman. Oh, the nice ladies. And
he was all the base and earthy desires.
Yeah. And in Buddhism, the monkey, the pig, and the bull are the three temptations.
Try this before you do that one. This is called a Ringo Sour.
Ringo Sour.
Enjoy the struggle. You've got to head on. Enjoy your day at work, my friend. We're going to continue on. It's the first time I've made that. I think it's really good. It's vodka and apple cider and Lillet Blanc and lemon juice and a little bit of sugar syrup.
That's really not bad at all, is it?
I really like it.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, you know, there's been a recent remake. Well, Chinese have been making monkey movies non-stop for the last couple of decades.
Monkey's costume hasn't changed for 1,000 years.
But there's a TV series. It was a co-production, I think, with a Chinese production company, the ABC and the New Zealand national broadcaster.
And the Japanese.
And the Japanese. I haven't seen it.
It's weird because the Chinese and Japanese will kill one another except over monkey.
Yeah.
Except over monkey, because that's completely different rules. The monkey stories are different.
Stella's going to bed too. Bye.
Bye, Stella.
Oh, I think you're thinking Monkey's Headache Band is like Nicholas Inuyasha. Well, a lot of these stories cross over, and Charles, like you're saying, Dragon Ball has and you're absolutely on the point there. With Dragon Ball was very influenced by the journey. You're saying to the west? Monkey was Journey to the East. Was the west or the east?
West. Journey to the west.
Because they're going to India. That was the
They were going to India and they were going back to the east.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it is a journey to the west, and that's the name of one of the Monkey movies. Because they've remade the Monkey story like a dozen times,
hundreds of times. Fuck. I mean, you can go to a Japanese or Chinese bookstore and get fucking 100 editions of the Journey to the West. And they're all like, you know, in different years, and everyone's got their take on it. But it was first written down in AD 450 from the hundreds of legends that had come up, and they first codified them in AD 450 because they wanted to, because everybody loved them, and they wanted to hold them.
Well, there's a great story, you know, and it's like the old Bible stories in the West.
Yeah.
In that it's okay, maybe not meant to be taken literally, but it's meant to educate.
That's right.
It's meant to educate you about society and your role in society.
Exactly. It was Bible stories for kids, and it was meant to calm these kids down after dinner, so that it was their bedtime story.
Yeah,
it was their bedtime story.
Yeah,
right. And so they'd all go, and the idea was they were supposed to relate to Tripitaka, you know, being the goodest monk ever.
Yeah, but everyone relates to Monkey being the mischief maker.
Everyone wants to be Monkey.
No one really relates to Pigsy or Sandy.
No.
But it's Monkey. But of course, the story always results in, you know, the Headache Band suggests Monkey's not there by free choice. But there are always moments in the story where Monkey escapes from Tripitaka's power, and the Headache Sutra can't get him.
Yeah.
And he misses it. He realizes, even though the band was there to keep him under Tripitaka's control, when he gets away from it, he's not happy.
No, he's no longer got purpose. He goes home to the Monkey Kingdom 3 times. First time because he escapes. The second time to put down an uprising, and the third time to marry off one of the king, because he's emperor. One of the king's daughters to another king's daughter, and he's supposed to be there. Yeah. But he goes there and goes, "Oh, okay, are we done? Are we done? Because I want to get back to the trip." And and he realizes that normally he'd spend ages and ages there, but am I reading the book now?
Don't know.
I'm reading the book now. I'm not even going to the show. It didn't happen in the show.
Yeah, no. He only show he only went back once.
In the book, he basically goes, "Hurry up, go back to this gig I've got." Yeah. And Tripitaka took the band off him to go and do this wedding. And the wedding's finished, and he's supposed to be there for 3 weeks for the wedding feast, and he hangs out for 4 days and goes, "Oh, I'm done, goodbye."
Yeah.
And gets on his cloud and goes.
I also love, besides the cloud, he would do things with his chest hairs occasionally.
He would do things with his chest
rip his hair out and blow, and what he'd create warriors with his chest hairs.
Yeah, he'd create an army with his chest hair, and he'd keep his bow stick in his ear.
Yes, and he'd pull it out and it'd grow.
And then, like, he would do. Yeah. And the bow stick is the simplest form of weapon in Chinese and Japanese armed conflict.
Yeah.
It's the simplest weapon you can have. Now, this is Monkey, who knows all the magics of all the world. He can have whatever weapon he wants, and he chooses the simplest weapon there is.
I also have, from one of the early episodes of the TV show, is when Monkey's still really rebellious and is basically telling Buddha that Buddha can't push him around. And Buddha is in one of her female presentations, and he's talking to Monkey, and Monkey's going, "Well, you've got nothing on me." And Buddha goes, "Okay, to prove You're beyond my power, monkey. Travel to the
End of the universe.
end of the universe. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Travel to the end of the universe. There are 5 pink pillars at the end of the universe. If you sign your name on those pillars, that will prove to me that you are beyond my power. And Monkey goes, fuck it. And Monkey on his cloud travels for an age, just keeps going and going because he's going to reach the edge of the universe. And he gets to the edge of the universe and there are these 5 pink pillars and he writes, King Monkey was here. And then he travels all the way back. It takes another age to get back to where Buddha is. It says, I did it. I got to the end of the universe and I wrote my name on the pillars. And Buddha holds her hand up and what Monkey wrote is on one of her fingers and said, all that journeying you did, you never went beyond the reach of my hand. And that was one of the first times Monkey's given the message, you are not as powerful as you think you are. And we were saying about that being like bedtime stories for kids. It is. It's to get them to be good Buddhists. It's to get them to go, don't think you're above the wisdom of the Buddha because the knowledge of the Buddha goes beyond anything you understand. And even if you accomplish great things, it's only because the Buddha let you.
And did you remind everybody how he pissed on the...
Oh, he pissed on one of the columns.
He goes, oh, I need a piss. So he goes right around the back of one of the columns and pisses on the column. And then, of course, you know, he comes and shows him the signature on the hand. He's like, ah, shit. And he goes, oh, I pissed on one of the columns. Oh,
Fury, I think you're right that Monkey is essentially immortal. But that's because to travel to the end of the universe didn't take him 5 minutes. It took him...
No. Took him a long time.
But he's ageless and he can do that. And I'm sorry, Wrestling Days, Big Pat, hello to you, my friend.
Hello, my fur.
Gecko, what's the name of the series you're watching? I see you put the YouTube link there, but we can't really see. I mean, there is that. I haven't watched that new version of Monkey yet. The Chinese, Japanese, Australian, New Zealand co-production kind of looks funny. Like it's got that all the weird sensibilities mashed up, which I've got a lot of time for. Speaking of wacky New Zealand things, Taika Waititi, who's like the god king of New Zealand film, ever since he made Boy, but after Boy he made fantastic films like What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People, and then he went on because he was so well known. Chris Hemsworth, when he was talking to the Marvel people and they were going to make the next Thor movie comedy, he said, you should get Taika Waititi to do it because he's the best comedy director in the world. And Thor Ragnarok is fucking brilliant. I love it. I love it beyond that. And Chris Hemsworth is such a good comedic actor. Him in Thor Ragnarok and him in the Ghostbusters reboot with the female Ghostbusters, he's fucking hilarious. He is such a good comedic actor. Obviously, he's mostly done action and heartthrob He-Man stuff. But
That's all right. I know him. I know him from work.
Oh my God, that was such... Like, they should have kept it a secret that Hulk was in the movie, but it was such a good line, they couldn't do it. Like, he's set to fight in the arena the most unbeatable enemy in the world, and it's Hulk, and everyone expects him to be terrified of Hulk, and he just goes, yes, he's a friend. I know him from work.
I know him from work.
And it's just like, what in the ever-loving fuck are you talking about? And
it's a great line.
He's so funny all the way through it. Like, when he's talking to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is trying to get him to see sense and whatnot. He goes, well, you and your brother Loki are really dangerous. What the fuck are you doing? He goes, we want my dad. Okay, I can help you find your dad. And Thor just goes, well, you could have told me where my father was. And Doctor Strange says, well, you don't have a phone. He goes, I don't need a phone. You could send me an electronic mail. It's a message you can send. And Doctor Strange says, do you have a computer? And he goes, no, why would I need a computer? And it's just like, Thor never admits he's wrong.
No.
And just keep bluffing his way through it. And there's a one bit like when he leaves Doctor Strange's house with all these amazing, obscure, magical, arcane, priceless artifacts. And he's disguised his hammer as an umbrella. And when he goes to leave, Doctor Strange says, like, you should get your umbrella. And Thor goes, yeah, because he can call Mjolnir whenever he wants. And he just holds his hand up. And you hear the noise of Mjolnir, and you just hear glass breaking. And like Mjolnir is smashing through every artifact that Doctor Strange has in his mansion. And Thor's standing there with his hand open, and you can just hear shit being smashed in the house. And Thor's just going, ha, 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 ha. And then it comes to his hand, and he goes, sorry. It's just like, he smashed fuck knows how many priceless magical artifacts. But Chris Hemsworth is, I mean, that's why he's Thor, because he is a god. Chris Hemsworth is a god as far as I'm concerned. It's just amazing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'd do him.
Oh, in a heartbeat. I mean, I'm as straight as they come, but Chris Hemsworth, oh my God.
Yeah.
Mind you, most of them, I have a soft spot for
He'd
most
have
of them.
to ask nice.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be able to eat bickies in bed.
No. But
no.
smile. If he does that smile.
If he does that smile,
yeah.
okay.
But also most of them, like probably also what's the guy's name who plays Bruce Banner? I've gone blank. But he's so charming.
He's brilliant.
And
he's brilliant too.
He's really good. And there are so many good lines between Hulk and Thor, and then Banner and Thor, because Thor's just trying to manipulate everyone into helping him.
Oh, can I just whinge for a second?
Do it.
And say that everyone complained that Ghost in the Shell was whitewashed, which is bullshit.
We've had this conversation.
Because we see Motoko Kusanagi as the Japanese girl that gets caught by the fucking officials. Then we see we mostly see the robot that they put her into.
Yeah, it is a robot.
It's a fucking robot.
And she is a Japanese girl. She's meant to be. Although I kind of thought with the movie, with what's her name in the role, they're almost doing a tongue-in-cheek piss take of, well, they're acknowledging that the actual person is a Japanese girl, but they've built this robot that looks like a Caucasian woman. And it's almost like they're having a piss take joke about whitewashing.
But that's all of the comics, all of the anime have that particular look about her, and every origin story is that she doesn't know whether she is who they say she is, who she thinks she is, or if she is a construction. Right? That is at the core of every single Ghost in the Shell story. It is at the core of every single one. Right? She learns all these martial skills because they're useful to governments, and if she ever leaves the employ of the government, she's got to give everything back. Right? So she is trapped. She is a slave.
She is actually controlled by it.
She is a slave to the government. Right? So that's why she's always trying to get room for herself.
And
always.
I have to admit, in the movie, look, the movie's flawed, but there's some great stuff in it. But notably, Beat Takeshi is the guy who's in charge of that unit. Fuck my God, that guy's you've got to look into his history. What's his real name? Takeshi Kitano?
Yeah, Takeshi Kitano.
But he has, you know how rappers have different personas? Takeshi Kitano has different personas because he's a jazz musician.
Yep.
When he's a jazz musician, he's Beat Takeshi. When he's an actor or a filmmaker, he's Takeshi Kitano. And you look at his old films like Boiling Point and was it Violent Cop?
Violent Cop was one.
Holy fuck! His old action films.
Some of them are hilarious.
Oh, Gecko wants to know.
And also, he's a comic, by the way.
Oh yeah, he does stand-up comedy.
By the way, he does stand-up comedy.
But he is. Gecko's asking about this. This is an artwork done by a YouTube fan, and there's AIDzee as like an android that's been rebuilt. Me, I think I'm made up with an incredibly butch physique, which is so not me. But
I'll go on. Take him.
Oh, definitely, I take
the win.
That with the cigar and stuff, that's like the A-Team. I'm Hannibal Lecter. There's a Mistress M there as a cyborg as well. But yeah, AIDzee Code Grey is definitely a zombie in there.
I am actually a zombie.
Yeah. Come back from the dead several times.
6 times now. No, 5 times.
Yeah. Gecko, Jeff Goldblum. Are you talking about Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok? Because he's fucking brilliant. It's almost as if you watch that movie and you see Jeff Goldblum doing a thing, and you kind of, there was a script, it was thoroughly scripted, but it's hard not to think they just got Jeff Goldblum on set and said, Jeff, can you just be Jeff?
Yeah. Can you just be Jeff?
Just be Jeff. And because Taika Waititi is such a fun, look at YouTube is full of interviews and stage presentations from Taika Waititi, and he's so fucking funny. He's amazing. Nobody, glad you dropped by, buddy. I thought we were going to pre-record for things, but AIDzee wanted to be with the people.
I wanted to be with the peeps. And I also, because I'm probably going to disappear again for a while,
yeah,
I wanted to say, can we do a bit where we ask AIDzee anything?
Oh, yeah, that is always the thing. AIDzee will answer literally any question.
Literally any question from any field, at any time, at any place.
Yeah, whether it be about AIDzee himself or whether it be about quantum physics or the origin of life in the universe.
Whatever. I'm happy to be whatever.
But thinking of other things I've watched recently. Oh, I just started. You won't have seen this. There's a new Netflix series. There's lots of the superhero stuff. There's lots of the comic stuff on Netflix and the other subscription services. The newest one, which just went live on Netflix in the last 24 hours, is one I'm not particularly familiar with. It's called The Umbrella Academy. It was one of the adult comics from, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. And the basic premise of it is in 1987, like a dozen women gave birth. This was notable because they weren't pregnant 24 hours earlier.
Nice.
And this eccentric American billionaire went around the world trying to get these babies and managed to basically buy 7 of them and raise them because he assumed they were going to have some amazing powers, and they fucking do. Whether it's being able to displace themselves physically or through time, or to be super strong, or to have a weird ability to throw knives in ways that defy physics, or to actually turn into this fucking monster that tears people apart. They all have incredible abilities. And the story starts on the day their adoptive father dies. And they're all adults. This is 17 years after there. And you don't know why he's died, and they're all dysfunctional, and the family progressively split up over the years because it's all dysfunctional. And one of them, the one who could displace physically, could also displace through time, and did not listen to his father when his father said, don't do it. And he did it and was jumping through time and having heaps of fun. And he disappeared. No one ever saw him again. But he appeared again like 17 years later, but he's still a kid. He says he's been where he was for 50 years. So in practical terms, he's 50, but physically he's 13. But what he eventually tells someone is, I was stuck in the future. I landed there and the world had ended. Everything was destroyed. Everyone was dead. I was on my own. And it took me 50 years to work out how to get back. And they're going, oh, that's heavy. He goes, it's not just that. I know the date the world ended. It's 8 days from today. And I don't know what caused it, and I don't know how to stop it.
Bugger.
Yeah. So that's the central thing with the Umbrella Academy. This one of these 7 kids telling the others, the world's going to end in 8 days, and it would be super cool if we worked out how to stop that.
You know what that reminds me of? Bloody that comic book we loved.
Which one?
On the internet.
Oh, that should be made a fucking movie or a TV series.
Freak Angels.
Freak Angels. Warren Ellis.
God, it was good.
One of my all-time favorite comic writers, because he's a cynical, grumpy old bastard. He's fucking
Freak
hilarious.
Angels was so good.
Look it up. It's free. There's a complete run that ran for many years, and the story finished.
There's only about 20 episodes.
No, there's way more than that. It ran for years.
It did run for years, but they spent so
It was
much time.
It was almost every week they put out a new page. It was only a page. They put out a page every week because it was really because they did a couple behind the scenes and said this is how much work goes into a page.
I tell you what, one of the things I took from it, and I'm not spoiling it, is massively ramified. That was the thing that I took from it, and I tell you what, you'll see it. You'll get it when you see it. Massively ramified.
Oh, Benny's asked this before. Here, AIDzee, would you get bionic limbs?
Yes.
In a heartbeat.
Yes.
God, I'd get it. My knees are fucked at the moment.
Limbs hurt.
I mean, sure, you've heard all the travails of what AIDzee's going through, but look, I broke the nail on my thumb recently.
That must hurt.
That's smart.
Do you know what's amazing?
Huh?
Is when you hurt your fingertips or your toes.
Yeah.
How fucking painful is it? Your toe is so small.
Yeah.
But it is so painful.
I fucking did this to this finger a little while. I was opening a bottle of Pepsi, and on the plastic on the lip of it, there was like a sharp bit, like a bit had been cut out. And when I twisted, I jagged my finger right into it and impaled my finger on this tiny bit of sharp plastic. And it was this tiny cut, but it was on the tip of all the fucking nerve endings are at the tip of your finger. And for like 3-4 days, I couldn't fucking touch anything.
It's so painful.
Because it was right on the tip of the finger. It's so fucking annoying.
Fucking painful. I stopped watching Gunner Creek Court because I found I was crying too much.
Gecko likes Gunner Creek Court. AIDzee cries too much.
I loved it. I loved it so much, and I was crying too much. When she and she get together, I'm not doing any spoilers.
Yeah.
When she and she get together, I thought that was the most beautiful thing. And then when she's father turned back up, I was infuriated. And then when she ran away because she and she got together, I was in tears. And then when she accepted her job over in the other place in the forest, again, not giving away any spoilers, there's something broke in my heart.
Yeah. I just noticed Big Pat watched Alita Battle Angel and he reckons it's cool. I looked at the ads. You know Alita Battle Angel's a
anime. I've seen all of the anime,
Yeah. And they made a live action movie and I looked at it and thought, okay, this is either gonna suck or possibly be really good.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few reviews that suggest it's pretty good. So it's interesting. I mean, because
there's a few ways you could go. There was 3 animes, and they really did change their direction a couple of times. And
because it's got Chris. Sorry, I'm just going to throw in the live action Angel, Alita Battle Angel has Christoph Waltz in it, who's a fucking sex god. As a mature gentleman, he's very sexy. But like, of course, he'd had a career in Europe for decades. And Quentin Tarantino brought him to outside of Europe with...
look at that. It's time for me pills. Yes, it's time for me pills. I should take them with alcohol.
I'm not saying I'm a bad influence, but, you know.
If you got any...
Toronto Maple Leaf is here. Is this enough to knock your pill back? I'm going to make a Toronto cocktail in honor of Toronto Maple Leaf for dropping in. Toronto Maple Leaf comes into a lot of the live streams because he has insomnia. It's like, God, what fucking hour of the morning is it in Canada? It's like ridiculous.
Well, it's not that here. I can tell you that.
No, it's 8:30
We have
PM.
decent time zones here. We have decent time zones. They're close to Japan and Beijing and fucking far away from bloody London.
Yeah. What was Christoph? Oh, it was fucking Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
That Quentin Tarantino brought Christoph Waltz to English-speaking moviegoers, and he also used him in Django Unchained.
Well, in Inglourious Bastards, he says you're going to be the worst bastard in the world, but your next movie, you're going to be the best hero ever.
And he was. He was the greatest
hero
such a great
ever.
And that great bit because he's a German migrant in America. and fucking rednecks who talk like they've got a mouthful of girl. What you talking about, boy? And he's just speaking in perfectly enunciated English. I am so sorry that my accent is throwing you and just like, oh my god. But yeah, him in Inglourious Bastards.
There's a section in Django where he can't do one thing. There's one thing he cannot do, and it fucks the entire back end of the movie because there's one thing his honor will not allow him to do. And it was simple. He could have just done it and walked away.
Yes.
He could have just done it and walked away, but he couldn't do it. As a man, and his honor just said, no, I can't let this happen.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have done it.
No. He made everything fall apart when he did it.
And yes, my teeth are wobbling around. Now, can I answer any questions?
That's the bingo. Yeah, someone, look, literally ask AIDzee anything. He's got a disturbingly encyclopedic knowledge. It can be about him. It can be about any aspect of human existence or the universe. Toronto Maple Leafer, I'm going to make a Toronto cocktail. That's going to be rye whiskey, Fernet Branca, which is a bitter herb liqueur, simple syrup, and bitters. Does that sound, do you want to try that, or is that sound too full on for you?
It's all
Too much bitters?
Right,
rye whiskey, pussy.
Do you dig giant robots? I have.
Fucking giant. Look, okay, people rag on the Pacific Rim movies, but they're fucking giant robots fighting giant monsters.
They're fucking giant robots fighting giant robots in the sea. Yeah. Come on.
Fuck yeah.
Come on.
I don't give it. People go, oh, fuck you in your plot holes. It is giant robots fighting giant
Do you know what? Someone fucking complained to me once that fucking when fucking Chewbacca sees R2-D2, he doesn't recognize him. And then I went back through the movies just with this in the back of my head and realized they've never met.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah. People, often when people want to rant about plot holes, they're often, oh, look, where was it? Gecko wants to know about us and Sean Bedlam.
I've seen Sean Bedlam. I've seen him a couple of times.
I don't think either of us has run into him for a little while.
No, I ran into him 2 months ago.
Yeah. No, but we know Sean. Sean's in the Melbourne comedy scene, and
he's doing okay. He's doing okay.
I swear to fucking God, I'm amazed he stuck with the activism because he tends to hate humans, which is one of the things that we love about him.
You dig giant robots. I fucking really dig giant robots.
Yeah, we're all in favour of giant robots.
How's my love life? Strangely, my love life is an interesting place.
Better than you deserve. That's what I'm
way better than I deserve. Right, boss of the house is 26.
Yeah.
I am 40. I'm going to be 48 this year. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Countdown to the big 5-0.
We started when I was 38.
Yeah. We've been doing this shit for we ran into each. Okay. Again, people often ask how we know each other. We did the same course at the same uni.
Yeah.
My last year was AIDzee's first year.
That's right.
And then we didn't see each other for, 15 years.
20 years.
How the fuck you recognised me, I will never know. But I was literally in the line for a show at the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
It wasn't my show.
And the room next door was AIDzee's show, a show AIDzee had directed. And he recognised me standing in the line and said, hey, we did the thing together. You should come to the show. And we hung out ever since. And then I explained YouTube to him. And we started making YouTube shit together fucking 8 years ago.
Yeah. It was full on. Less of a neck beard. I've got to get my beard shaved and my beard trimmed.
Okay. One of the funnier things about trolls online is how they say dumb, arbitrary shit like,
have I been AIDzee? Very sick.
Oh, Toronto Maple Leafer, yeah. I'm sorry, but we have been mentioning a few of his fucking misadventures. So you're going to do Canadian maple whiskey, all that kind of. Okay, I can do that.
Here is a question that will throw you easy. Is there a way to instantly forget an ex? I gained a new ex-girlfriend this morning. Yes, there is a way to instantly forget an ex. It is a little bit full on.
Does it involve trepanation? Ice picks into the temple?
No. What it involves is
Seems weak then.
getting very drunk and listening to Adele songs. And then going out and having the sexual intercourse with another person.
Okay.
Then coming home, getting very drunk and listening to Adele songs, and then going out and having the sexual intercourse with another person again, and doing the same thing again. You will instantly forget the ex.
Okay. Nobody, I'm going to do a slightly more practical result. Again, counseling and therapy is good things. Find yourself, if you're having challenges with life in general and you're looking at counseling or therapy, find yourself a proper medical practitioner who does what's called EFT.
That'll work.
Tapping. Because that literally, you don't forget the ex, but they stop having a visceral power over you. Like I've said this a bunch of, Mrs. Angry is a therapist, and she specializes in 2 techniques which are absolutely fucking amazing. One's called EMDR, which is a bit more involved, which you actually use to treat really severe things like post-traumatic stress disorder. That's recognized by the World Health Organization as an effective treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. And she works with like refugees, people who've been tortured, have had family members murdered, people who've been raped and whatnot. And this technique's amazingly effective. But a different technique is called EFT. It's also known as tapping. And she did that with me. She tested on me, and because there was a particular ex of mine, probably the most toxic relationship I'd had in my entire life, a really manipulative, mean person. And when I would think back like, oh God, I let her fuck me over. I'm so weak and pathetic. And I would have like a physical reaction. I'd feel physically sick if I thought of it, because I just feel like that person manipulated me and fucked me over and I let it happen and I'm weak. And tapping takes that away. I don't forget she existed. I don't forget the things she did, but the memory doesn't have this power over me anymore. It doesn't make me feel physically sick. It's fucking amazing. Find yourself a practitioner who does EFT and or EMDR, and it's fucking amazing.
That'll work, by the way.
Fernet Branca. I'm going to get my Fernet.
Wow.
What was that?
That's a good question.
What was the question?
Angry, do you still have your masks from back in the day?
Yes, I do. I have all of them. They're in a cupboard. And I keep thinking of bringing them out again, and then I keep not doing it. But
what is that?
That's called Fernet Branca. It's an Italian bitter herb liqueur. Like, smell it. You like smelling things.
Wow.
It is a really old, like you read the label and it's like, you know, this is a secret, like only one maker makes. Since the year 1845, secret formula of Fernet Branca has been based on an infusion from a unique blend of selected blossoms, rare aromatic herbs, carefully aged in the historic Branca cellars. Like there is only one maker who makes this.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah.
Tendai Manamano.
Yeah.
Asks, AIDzee, have you tried Up Dog?
What's up, dog? Have you ever had Bofa in your mouth? Bofa D's nuts.
What do you call nuts on a wall?
What?
Walnuts.
Walnuts, yeah.
What do you call nuts on your chest?
I don't know, nuts chest?
Chestnuts.
Chestnuts, sorry.
What do you call nuts on your chin?
Nuts on your chin. I don't know what.
Bloody big cock in your mouth.
Bloody big cock in your mouth. What's so I always remember the line from Clueless, which was actually a remake of the novel Emma, where the class bitch doesn't want to do PE because they're playing tennis, and because she's had nose surgery, and she says, my nose surgeon says I'm not allowed to have balls flying at my face. When the other goes, well, that's your social life done then. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't.
Men, ratio, not girlfriend and boyfriend. No girlfriend now. I'm sorry, Wrestling Dave.
Oh, Big Pat. But are you friends? I mean, I think you're a really friendly guy. I think you're the sort of guy that people like to have as a friend. So I hope Rachel thinks you're good as a friend.
AIDzee, have you ever seen The Last of the Summer Wine? Well, in
BBC
reality,
series.
I have, but not the actual entertainment.
And they did a sequel, or it's a prequel, First of the Summer Wine, where the same characters were much younger.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, there's. I think it was a single series, First of the Summer Wine.
I've seen Brideshead Revisited.
Oh, you gay motherfucker.
AIDzee, why are you leaving us again? That's because they're cutting 86 varicose veins out of my leg.
Yeah, fuck knows how long you're going to be in hospital for that.
They might very well cut my legs off for that. So I might be away for a while. Or Angry might come into the
Hospital.
the rehab, give it a bit of run over here, you manky bloody stumpy legged bastard, and I'll go, okay.
What you need is those spring legs that South African
I am
inverted.
so getting spring legs, and I'm getting pipe legs. I don't want those horrible fucking fleshy legs. I want those pipe legs that make you look like a Terminator.
Oh my God, that's okay. This is for you, Toronto Maple Leafer. This is called the Toronto cocktail.
Sorry about that.
You've got to have a taste of it. It's pretty fucking spectacular.
Oh, fuck. 4 of those and you'll be dancing on your head.
Fuck
oh,
yeah.
It's still burning my lips.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
right.
the bitter stuff.
Oh, God. Oh, Toronto Maple Leaf. Get some of this into you. It'd be like the Chinook coming down.
Yeah. This is for you. For those, in case I didn't make it clear, the Toronto cocktail.
No, they're not really cutting my legs off, Catherine Hall. They might cut my legs off. They're really cutting out varicose veins. But if they cut out so many varicose veins that there's no actual leg left, they'll just go snip, snip.
Yeah. So a Toronto cocktail is whiskey, either Canadian whiskey or rye whiskey. I use rye whiskey. A lot of that, 2 ounces of that. 1/4 ounce of Fernet Branca, which is, and you can substitute. That's basically an Amaro. That's an Italian herb liqueur. There are 50 Amaros on the market.
You can get one of them. Even in Canada. You know how in Canada, when you go somewhere else, you get one of those little bottles of maple leaf and give them to them, that's a present? Well, you can get an Amaro like that in Italy. You know, when you go there, they go, here's your basket shit and an Amaro.
Yeah. And then you have a bit of simple syrup or sugar, basically a little bit of sweetener and a dash of bitters. But it's pretty fucking good. It is pretty fucking good, quite honestly. Oh, Benny, how's the circulation here? It's shit, I suppose. Oh, my lovely dame. I love that she has no regard for your feelings. You're going to end up being a comedic chicken nugget with your limbs cut off. I think for symmetry,
I like it.
If he gets his legs cut off,
I'll be a pillow.
For symmetry, I might cut his arms off as well.
Yeah, I'll be a pillow. Or like that chick out of that weird horror movie we've seen, how she's got like stick arms and stick legs, and she just like walks around like a spider. Very
like weird or
weird.
something. You're really into Japanese horror, aren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'm not into horror. I'm into movies where the insides of people stay on the inside and the outside of people stay on the outside. And when we watch movies, I tell Angry this, and he goes, yeah, it's one of those movies. And it's not one of those movies.
Go through my channel, search for videos, Angry and AIDzee watching movies, because there's a few classics of the Japanese horror films like Tokyo Gore Police and Big Tit Zombie and lots of stuff that's meant to stay on the inside of people. comes out on the outside.
Yes.
Tokyo Gore Police, like it
And,
says it in the name.
Do you know what we watched? Was it 21 Days of Night? What was it, 41 Days?
Oh my God! 40 Days of Night.
Okay,
Fucking hell.
I had a massive bash to my head. I had a massive what do they call them? Concussion, right?
Yeah.
But I was okay. and I came round to Angry's place and said, "Oh, we should watch a movie." He says, "Yeah, we should do that 41 Days of Winter of Night."
40 Days of Night.
40
yes.
Days of Night. He said, "We did it."
Yeah.
Last week. And I said, no, we haven't done it. He said, "We did it last week." And I said, no, we haven't done that one yet. And then he showed me the video of me watching the video and me doing the jokes thing on autopilot.
The only one I forgot was when we did the Harry Potter drinking game, where we had to take a drink. We've done commentary tracks for all of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
So because we love Harry Potter, so you should go check it out. But one of them we decided to do the Harry Potter drinking game, where we had I think it's just cider or something in front of us, and you had to take a drink every time someone said Harry Potter. Not when they said Harry, not when they said Potter, but when they say Harry Potter, because they say that a lot.
Shit-faced.
And this was back when I monetized my, that got demonetized because we were a bad influence on children.
We were a bad influence on children, and we got slapped for that.
It did. The video is still there, but
told, don't do that again.
It got demonetized because we were popular children's film turned into a drinking game, and we got absolutely fucking hammered.
We got very slapped for that.
Probably the funniest drinking thing I ever did was a live stream. This is back when this is by myself. You were there. Blog TV existed. That's where I used to do live streams.
Yourself, I'm going to talk.
Yeah, you go. We did a movie watching night on Blog TV, and I was drinking. And we watched 2 movies. I remember one of them was 300, and I actually don't remember what the other movie was. But I watched 2 movies and got progressively really fucking smashed. And like 300's playing, and I'm really drunk, and I'm saying things like, honestly, if watching a movie with half-naked, oiled-up men makes you gay, I don't want to be straight. And I woke up the next morning and realized I didn't remember how the night had ended. That almost never happens to me. That almost never happens to me. But I woke up and I was doing a live stream last night, and I honestly don't remember how it finished. So I had to sheepishly go on social media and say, if anyone was in the live stream, can you please tell me how it finished, because I don't remember. And they said, oh, you got really drunk and you basically got really quiet. You stopped talking and you were just staring at the screen. And then without warning, at one moment, you just went, ah, fuck it, I have to go to bed. And I was doing it off my laptop, and I just shut down the laptop. I literally just went, I can't fucking keep doing this, and just shut the laptop and went to bed. But I actually had to ask people. I had to really sheepishly go on social media and ask people, how the fuck did that live stream finish? Because I swear to God, I don't remember. But I was watching all the naked guys on 300 and just saying, yeah, this is what it's all about. Toronto Maple Leaf watch it. I was trying to remember what the other movie. I do remember I watched 2 movies. I was doing a commentary track for a couple of movies, and man, I just fucking lost it. But it was really funny, like waking up, because I did this on a weekend. Mrs. Angry was away. She often does seminars, not often, occasionally does seminars for her work, and she'll go away because she's doing full-day seminars. And so I go, right, the missus is away, I'm fucking getting fucking hammered while I do this. And I was left to my own devices.
Never good.
Not good. And when I got up in the morning, I kind of went, because I normally try and remember, have a drink of water before you go to bed and maybe take some headache tablets before you go to bed. And I woke up in the morning and the medicine cabinet in the bathroom was a fucking shambles. So I went, well, at least I remembered to take some fucking tablets.
which ones they were.
I knocked
I don't know.
I knocked everything over trying to find them, but I did it. But yeah, I had to ask people what I did. Gecko, back in the 90s I used IRC. I don't think I've used IRC since the 90s.
I used to use IRC back in the day.
Internet relay chat.
Because our friend Dr. Camo.
Oh yes, and that is literally a friend of ours who was at the same uni that we were at, who does actually have his doctorate, and he's a professor now. He's in charge of the communications degree. He's a filthy, 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 filthy man. He's a filthy man.
He's the rawest motherfucker you have ever met.
We have had such terrible, terrible, terrible nights with him, and now he's a professor, which is fucking brilliant.
That's ridiculous that he's a professor.
Professors are so not to be trusted.
No.
What's that line? I even remember doing a musical in school. God, what's it called? Salad Days. It's about universities in England, and there's the song about the Oxford Dons, and it's saying about all the terrible things they do when they're shit-faced. And there's a line in the song that says, "Above all, you must admonish anyone who insists on affirming that dons are donnish." In other words, university professors are the most fucked up pissheads on the planet. And there's a line in it about, I remember that time we found a Roman chalice in the storeroom, and we went out on the rugby field and kicked it to pieces. And it's just like, fucking Oxford dons, man.
Yeah.
University professors are the most fucked up pissheads on the planet.
I need more sustenance.
You've got to have more rice crackers. Yeah. 2 years ago, I had the shed for filling space. I moved from that house like just under 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I now have I have a spare room in the current house.
But it's still messy.
Yeah, and actually, Mrs. Angry cleaned it up because she's learning keyboard, piano.
Wow.
You should check it out. You'd be impressed at how clean that room is.
Can we go in it now?
Do you want to go and look in it now?
No, not now.
After we finish.
But what I'm saying is, can we use it for a studio now?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Mrs. Angry cleaned it up. Super, because she's learning keyboard. And, okay, here's the thing.
So we're not allowed to touch the keyboard? We
can. I just want her to get good enough that she does music for our videos.
Awesome.
Because this is really cool, full-size Casio keyboard, like not a half-size one. It's got all the keys on. Because, okay, when you have kids, because I have kids, and we were just fucking horrified today.
You don't have kids.
No, I have adults. I do not have kids. I have adults. My kids are 18 and 21. And that was freaking him out because he knew them when they were 10. But my kids are now adults. They're 18 and 21. They'll both be at uni this year.
Fuck.
So we were spending half of today going, oh my God, we're so fucking old. We are so fucking old.
Man, I look okay. Hey, no. But I look okay. If you look 10 years ago, you'll find that I look very similar.
Okay, I'm just going to take a brief pause to think about that statement and go, fuck you, man, fuck. And I would say fuck you in the ass, but you enjoy that sort of thing? No,
I don't.
Oh my God, I got a friend.
I really don't.
I have weird internet friends. When you make friends on, like when I first got on Twitter, which is about 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago. But I made a point of following anyone from Melbourne I could find because I wanted to find out shit that's happening in Melbourne. And then I find there were a lot of sex workers on Twitter. I ended up being friends, Twitter friends, internet friends, and in some cases real life friends with people who were sex workers. And you get a really interesting insight into shit you don't experience by talking to them. Toronto Maple Leaf, illegal drinking age in Australia is 18.
18.
So both my kids are adults now, can drink alcohol.
And 18 is when you can go to big person's prison.
Yeah, big person's prison. But over the next week, someone I made friends with, she's an Aussie who moved to London to run a BDSM dungeon under the name Mistress Cleo, and her specialty is rogering dudes with strap-ons.
Okay. As you do.
She's fucking hilarious. And this is guys who identify as straight. They have no sexual attraction to other men, but they want to be dominated by a woman
With a strap on.
with a strap on. And I've seen her collection, and it ranges from, you know, the Initiator, which is like a lipstick-sized vibrator for a dude who's never had anything up his butt, and through to the one she calls Cockzilla, which I'm not fucking joking is this thick, and it's longer.
Yeah.
And she fucking straps it on.
Why are gays shit at fighting?
Why are gays shit at fighting?
Because they think this is a fist. Hello, Pattern Sport.
Batman Sport. Hello, buddy. Glad you joined. Yes, Charlie. It's become. You know who invented the term pegging? It's an American sex advice columnist, Dan Savage, gay dude.
Right.
He not only invented the term pegging, he popularized. There's a really vile American politician called Rick Santorum who pushes really ugly anti-gay shit, and he publicized we should make his name synonymous with something he doesn't like. And under the campaign Spreading Santorum, he said Santorum is the unavoidable byproduct you occasionally get from anal sex. It's a frothy mix of fecal matter and lube that is the sometimes unavoidable byproduct of anal sex.
That's Santorum.
And that's where, if you search Santorum, you do not get American politician Rick Santorum. You get, it is the frothy byproduct of fecal matter, and oh my god! And he also invented pegging for a guy being rogered by a woman with a strap on.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't agree with everything Rick Santorum. Sorry, I don't agree with anything Rick Santorum said. Dan Savage. I don't agree with everything Dan Savage has said, but he is a pretty insightful person. He said some very interesting. Yeah.
Pegging's a good thing. I like pegging.
Yeah.
Because you peg on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember what he listed a couple of possibilities for what is a straight guy being rogered by a woman called. And when pegging won, he said, he has an Aunt Peggy. He said, okay, my Aunt Peg is going to hate me forever. Pegging is now this. But yeah, he was responsible for christening Peggy. Oh, trying to remember, Mistress M is doing well. She moved to Adelaide first this year. She got her degree in social work. Keep meaning, we were talking, because I stay in contact with Mistress M through the social medias. We were talking about making some videos, whether it's via a live chat like this, like a Google Hangout, or we each record a bit of video and I edit it together. But she's doing really well. She has, like I said, she's got her degree. She has a happy relationship. Everything's roses for Mistress M.
I love that.
Tinder, you got to go. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
Yeah, man. Been good to see you, man.
Yeah. Gecko, you got to your barracks, lock the door. Gecko put before, first time he got drunk is when his dad was out of town and his dad had a liquor cabinet and there was this much in, like, this much tequila and this much vodka and this much, and he poured it all together into the one glass.
Damn.
I think we've all done that at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
You hold your nose and tip it back. I know a friend of mine, do you remember Ben Heaps?
I do.
He used to talk about he had a friend who ran a bar, and the fucking drain they had over the bar where everything goes, they'd pour that into a bucket, and it was a mixture of 10 different types of beer and spirits and whatnot. Just hold your nose and knock it back to get drunk. It's like awful. So if he's looking at Gecko saying he's made a way, threw up, got to the toilet, threw up some more. Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
But that was one of my.
So, any more questions for Rosie? Just ask him.
Yeah, if anyone had questions for Rosie, Ben's dead.
Yeah, he
was killed in a nightclub, and that was one of the more jarring experiences of my life because he moved to Melbourne a couple of years before I did. And I used to catch up with him on the semi-regular, and then he had a whole bunch of issues with depression and whatnot, and he wouldn't answer his phone or door, and everyone's going on. And then I just switched on the evening news one night, and his picture was there. He'd been killed in a nightclub, like got in a fight with some big Samoan dude and thrown down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
And killed him.
Wasn't he bouncing?
No. He was just there. He was with his girlfriend, and this big Samoan guy grabbed his girlfriend and groped her and whatnot. And he jumped in and got thrown down a flight of stairs, which killed him. And seeing that on the evening news was one of the most jarring fucking experiences of my life.
Yeah, because someone tells you.
Yeah, just with no warning, his picture's up there saying he's been killed in a nightclub. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Listening to ACDC's recollection of Bon Scott dying is heartbreaking because they realised they have to get on the phone to his mum before the press advertises it in Australia. And it's 5 o'clock in Australia, and they get on the phone to his mum. They wake her up and tell her that her son is dead.
Because that was literally just like choking on vomit.
He choked on his own vomit. He was so drunk. He was sitting in a car. He fell asleep, and he choked on his own vomit and died. And they were in Britain, and the press were all over it. And they had to call his mum.
Yeah, because they were like family. They'd been together for so long.
It would suck calling your best friend's mum.
Yeah.
And saying, our best friend and your son is dead.
Sorry, I was going to go to arguably, it's not really lighter, but it's lighter. Michael Hutchins with the autoerotic asphyxiation.
Right. True.
No, I know, but that's what his family wanted the coroner to say, and the coroner said, "Okay, I'll say what you want." Whereas what his girlfriend at the time, what's her name, Bob Geldof's ex, do you want to say like, no, that's right. That the official thing was suicide, wasn't it?
No, he died of a heroin overdose.
Yeah, but the official thing was hanging himself.
That's suicide. Right, hanging himself. And of course, you look at these door hangers and you look at how tall he was, and he would have had to been on his knees, stretched out. It was a joke. And these things would have broken under him anyway.
Yeah. A little bit of trivia. When he was going out with Kylie Minogue, I was living in Sydney at that point. They were in Sydney. One time I was out with some friends. I was driving. We're in Darlinghurst, and these Harleys roared out of the parking lot of this upmarket hotel. And that was Michael Hutchins and his crew. And we just came up, and the lights just turned red as we got to them, and these bikes rolled up. And Michael Hutchins was there with Harley, with Kylie Minogue riding passenger on his Harley, but they didn't stop at the red light. They ran the red, because that was Oxford Street. If they had stopped at a red light in Oxford Street,
they would have
got mobbed. So they just ran the red light. So that's a little bit of trivia. When Michael Hutchins was going out with Kylie Minogue, they were right next to me in traffic.
Yeah.
That's my close call with fame. That they didn't want to stop at the red light I stopped at, and they went past me. But that's what Sydney's like, really.
That's what Sydney's like, man.
Oh God, I think Toronto Maple Leaf is saying something heavy. There's an Amber Alert that went off last night for a missing girl. And she was found dead. Oh, no. See, family fucking violence fucking fucks me up. I can't wrap my head around it, but it's a fucking epidemic problem certainly in every Western country. Family violence is an epidemic problem. And I can't wrap my head around it. It fucks me up.
But you can go to a lot of other countries, especially in the stands.
Yeah.
And family violence is a fucking built in.
Slightly different, but what's it? Oh, nobody's read Russell Morris and John English. Fucking legends, the pair of them. Russell Morris a legend from the 60s, and John English, a legend from the 70s.
Mm. Do you guys do any work with technology stuff? Yes,
I do.
I do.
What do you
I work with Blender occasionally when I can fucking keep up with it.
That's true. You've actually experimented with Blender. My day job, I work in IT. I'm a business analyst.
Mm.
I'm like the translator between the technical side and the business side in system development. And that, let me tell you, puts a lot of pressure on my communication skills.
I can
Which
imagine.
I actually enjoy.
Oh, you and I have got to talk.
About?
I got fired from my other job.
Oh, cool. We won't explain that here, but AIDzee started a thing which I think is awesome, and I actually think we could take over the goddamn motherfucking world.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it because I said I would, because I haven't officially been fired. The guy who hired me is a fucking weak ass.
He doesn't like the fact you're on medication.
That's it. And basically, he has been using Boss of the House as a go-between, which is piss poor. He's been putting him in the middle, right? And he says, "Oh, I don't want him anymore." I'm going, "No, I want to hear it from his mouth." Right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the project and present it to them and say, for an amount of money, you may buy this.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy, because I've been looking for something new to do career-wise, and your fucking brains in that shit fits exactly with my IT career.
So I'm going to put the price at such a point that they're going to say no. And then you and I are going to run around the corporate world doing this thing, and it's going to be fucking awesome.
We're going to make all those cunts in corporate world pay us a fucking fortune.
We're going to make them pay us a fortune. We are going to... It's such a double-pronged thing that we are going to be richest cunts in the world, except that you are, because I'm going to be paid in cash, because I consume such a prodigious amount of medical health care that I can't have a job.
Yeah, no, because you need to be on the government dollar.
I need to be on the pension, because otherwise I'd have to pay for it.
Yeah, but because I've got my own company.
And it would be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and I am not shitting you.
Okay, tell you what I'm going to make now. Sazerac. That's a classic New Orleans cocktail. It's basically probably the oldest cocktail in the world is the old fashioned, which is literally just whiskey with a sweet, either sugar or sugar syrup, and a dash of bitters. And that's like that's like the oldest cocktail in the world. Whiskey, whether it be Scotch or bourbon, or with a bit of a sweetener, either actual sugar or sugar syrup, and some bitters. That's an old fashioned. That's very simple. Sazerac is, a lot of people who are obsessed with New Orleans will say this is the grandfather of cocktails, but it's really just an old fashioned with a little splash of absinthe.
Oh, I can't have that.
Because you're a girl.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, look, over here, I'm going to quickly say, look, here's Mimsy. Mimsy's with us.
Yeah.
Mimsy's with us and stuff. And AIDzee is just a total girl.
I'm scratching my fucking head.
Which you so shouldn't.
Gotta not do. Oh, God, stop scratching.
Sometimes maybe live with Ben Affleck's not in Fight Club.
Isn't he?
No, that's the other guy who also played Hulk in the Ong Lee version of Hulk.
Norton.
Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. I mean, okay, look, okay, Fight Club is essentially a piss take of toxic masculinity, and a bunch of dudes who are really fucking toxically masculine just take it at face value with nothing. Oh, yeah, we should punch each other. But Ed Norton and Brad Pitt were both so good in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Don't tell me, Billy, if you meant Brad Pitt. Okay.
Who do you reckon I am, Brad Pitt?
I'm Brad. He's Ed Norton. Actually, no, I'm actually okay being Ed Norton. Ed Norton's like a fucked up guy who doesn't know his life's spiraling out of control.
He does a bit,
and I'm kind of okay with being the guy who's so fucked up he doesn't actually know how fucked up he is.
However, my life did spiral out of control a few times.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Dirk. Hi, Dirk. How's it going? Look, you take control. I need to take a toilet break.
Okay, now, guys, seriously, ask me anything. Ask me anything at all, and I will tell you answers to those things.
I just think there's about a 10-second delay between when you say anything and when you'll see any response to what you say.
Okay, so I'm okay with the 10-second delay. I'm looking at you, and I will read as fast as I can. Mimsy's just buggered off after Andrew, who's gone to the toilet, and that's weird. But I'm okay with that, so ask me anything at all. I'm okay with it. I am an expert in all fields. You'd be surprised what I know, and what I don't know, well, I'm not even going to look up on Google. I can put it together through the Greek or Latin. Quietly contemplating, looking over there at the board. It's an old mate tool talking. Yeah. What is the best way to kill a vampire? Right, best way to kill a vampire is to get him to come to a party, and you go, there's plenty of blood around, there's plenty of blood around. As soon as he comes in, you say, welcome to our darkened corridor. Just put your coat up there. And as soon as he's done this, stoich with your pointy stick. And then as he's putting his coat up, just like, put him in the coat. And as the next vampire comes in, stoich, another one. And you can collect the bounty on all of them. Yeah, all right. Best way to kill a vampire. What's my favourite colour? Orange. And I particularly like orange and blue. Orange, blue, silver as a mix is lovely. Are sliding doors normal in Australia? Normal? Fuck, they're almost mandatory. There's a few questions for AIDzee. Interior, that is. Write a book where they sparkle. Okay, I'll write a book where they sparkle. Virgin, 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 sparkly vampire, virgin, 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 virgin. End of the book.
Best way to kill a vampire?
Yeah, I told him that.
Stake through the heart.
Yeah, but you get him in a cupboard, and then you invite him to a party, and put your coat up, stoich, and then the next one, put your coat up, stoich, and the next one, put your coat up, stoich, and then you just hide them in their coat.
Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
I really have. I really
there's
love
a fucking TV series coming out. They had a kind of spin-off series called Wellington Paranormal about cops who get assigned to patrol the paranormal activities in Wellington, New Zealand, which was very funny. But there's a literal What We Do in the Shadows TV series coming. And the vampires in that, I think some of them are British actors and some of them are, but it's like the people behind it are Taika Waititi and Jemaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. Jemaine Clement was one of the vampires in What We Do in the Shadows. So it's different vampires in a different city, but it's the same. I saw a trailer for the What We Do in the Shadows TV series. Holy fuck, it looked funny.
I imagine.
There's a guy you'll recognise because he's been in all those crazy English sitcoms like The IT Crowd and whatnot. It's just like paranormal creatures like vampires and werewolves and whatever, but just being equally as fucked up as ordinary people are, which was the single funniest thing about What We Do in the Shadows. A shared house full of vampires that was just as fucked up as any shared house that exists. And that was the central joke, that vampires might be hundreds of years old, but they're just as fucked up
as anyone else.
Yes, Charlie, Matt Berry is in the What We Do in the Shadows series.
An Australian did invent the submarine sliding door. Do you have a favourite way of dying, and do you have a least favourite way of dying? I do. My favourite way of dying is under anaesthetic. My least favourite way of dying is being burnt to death as a witch.
Yep, I would actually say burnt to death is bad.
Have I ever watched RuPaul's Drag Race? Yes, those bitches have nothing on me. Wouldn't a stake through the heart kill you if you're not a vampire? Fuck yes.
Good
every
call,
time.
Michael Carney.
Every
Stake through
time.
the heart is going to kill any.
Every time. But, you know,
It's gonna kill
fuck
anyone.
them. You know, if you stake them through the heart, they're vampires.
Yeah.
Matt
But
Berry-
the big thing in the Middle Ages with vampires was not just stake them through the heart. You had to cut their head off and then cut their heart out and bury it at a crossroads to stop them from ever coming back was a lot more fucking involved than a stake through the heart. After you stake them through the heart, you had to cut their head off.
The stake through the heart thing was actually stake through the rest of their body so they
Yeah.
wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
They were terrified that these people would come back, and they would put rocks on the coffin and then put the coffin under a shady tree.
Yeah.
And the reason being is the roots would grow around the coffin and they wouldn't get out of that.
Oh, Toronto Maple, if you bring up drowning might be bad. That reminds me of...
I have drowned.
Yeah, you have.
Sucks.
Yeah. The movie The Prestige. Did you ever see that?
Mhm.
It had a couple of good actors in it. Brainstock Aussie guy who was Wolverine. And
He's Hugh McGregor.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh McGregor. Who the fuck is Hugh McGregor? You weird fucking individual. And the guy who was Mad Max in Fury Road. But they're in The Prestige, and that's two fighting. That was a novel apparently before this movie. Two fighting illusionists in Edwardian England, and one of a central thing of this is drowning a good way to die or a bad way to die. And I swear to fucking God, The Prestige is a fucked up movie. And you don't realize until you've finished it how fucked up it was. So, and there's even little side stuff like David Bowie plays Tesla. And Tesla has actually invented a machine that can create a clone of you through electricity. Oh my God. The Prestige is a seriously fucked up movie. Because it seems innocent enough, but after you finish it, you realize what everything everyone said and did during it means, and it's majorly fucked up. Hugh Jackman, I'm just going to throw this out there. Hugh Jackman is the closest thing we have to a god on this planet. Hugh Jackman can make Wolverine plausible, and Hugh Jackman can play Peter Allen as well.
And in between those two is everything else.
Yep. He can play like the gayest dude on the planet, Peter Allen.
And the hardest man ever to be born.
Wolverine. And he lends gravitas to both of them. Hugh Jackman is basically the best human that has ever existed. I'm putting it out there now. We're maybe second and third best humans that have ever existed.
Yeah.
But Hugh Jackman, I think, may be the best human that has ever existed.
Dirk Van Diem.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to minimise this as all is. I don't know, my dad died of lung cancer. That was pretty fucked. And it is. And Dirk Van Diem says waterless drowning over days.
Oh,
and
dude.
it is. It fucking is.
My dad died of lung
exactly
cancer.
How it is.
My mum died of leukemia. My older sister died of lung cancer. My uncle died of lung cancer. My aunt had a double mastectomy and survived that. So basically there is far too much fucking cancer in my family, and it makes me fucking paranoid. But I empathize with you. My dad died when I was 21. So what actually creeps me out, 21st birthday is regarded as a big thing, right? Still in Australia and whatnot, even though your legal age of attainment is 18 or 20.
Yeah.
The 21st is still a big thing. My 21st was used as an excuse to get the whole family together before my dad died, because my dad was dying. And it was an excuse to get my whole family together without saying we're doing this just before dad dies, which honestly felt kind of fucked to me. I'll be honest, using my 21st birthday as an excuse to get the whole family together before my old man died of cancer, kinda felt like I was being used. I'm going to throw it out there.
I'm going to say you were being used.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say we're going to give you a 21st later on. Toronto Maple Leaf. Deep water is my phobia, so drowning to me is the worst. Learn how to swim.
Oh my God, a friend. I've never done deep sea swimming, but I remember an ex-girlfriend of mine talking about going out on a fishing boat into open ocean where the bottom of the ocean was fuck knows how many miles below you.
It's 5, 6, 7, 10,000 meters below you. It's 10 kilometers down.
And jumping out of the boat and swimming, technically no different to swimming in a swimming pool that's only 2 meters deep.
Mm-hmm.
But you know
that
the water,
thousands of meters a day. And my brother and I used to jump out of the boat
because you're a swimmer,
while we were shark fishing.
Yeah.
And we would go down as far as it went dark.
Mm.
And then we would allow ourselves to float upwards, but you've got to blow out
to balance the pressure.
Your lungs are under so much pressure that they will explode if you don't allow yourself to blow out, and you're shooting up anyway. And I remember shooting up, and I bothered a shark. A shark's going do 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 do, and then I'm like, ow, straight up next to him. He's going, fuck, what was that? And
which is fun. A shark actually being troubled by you is good.
The funniest thing about sharks to me was I was going reef fishing with my spearfisher, going, oh, there's a fish. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. And then I looked up, and there was these 3 sharks looking at me, looking at the fish, going, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? And it's going, what are you looking at? And they're looking at this fish, going, are you going to get him?
I think we've got a few good nominations for top 10 humans. Ryan Reynolds, Neil Patrick Harris. It's very male-centric at the moment, by the way. But I think you, me, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Neil Patrick Harris may well be in the best 10 people on the planet.
So Toronto Maple Leaf, learn to swim.
Oh my fucking God. I just saw someone, Dirk, works in body recovery, said to recover bodies. You've had to be recovered from water a couple of times. But you lived.
I lived. The first time I was recovered from water, I wasn't very alive. But I got pounded on and vomited all the water up, and I was okay.
You're a big one for like crashing a car into a dam and being in pitch black in water. Is if you have a watch that have an aluminum face or a phone might work, you blow bubbles and see which direction the bubbles go.
When you get out of the car, if it's pitch black, you don't know which way is up. So what you do is you blow bubbles over a light source. If you've got a torch, great. If the lights, what you can do is leave the lights on in the car. I mean, who's going to steal it? Don't lock the car. Again, who's going to steal it, right? You know, don't get that. Leave the lights on in the car. Go in front and blow bubbles, and that follow the bubbles.
The bubbles will go up.
And so you follow them up, and then you breathe air, and it's sweet, sweet, sweet.
And
air.
I have to add, we are not making this shit up.
It's real.
It's literally crashed into a dam and only survived by blowing bubbles past the light source.
Yeah, I had a luminous watch, and I blew bubbles across that, and they went that way. And I went, okay, that'll do.
Because when you don't know what's up, what's down, and if you just swim based on instinct, you might be swimming down, you might be swimming laterally. Neither of those will help. You need to know which way is up, and that's
got to go up. Toronto Maple Leaf, learn how to swim.
Yeah, Toronto Maple Leaf says he knows how to swim, but you should respect the water, man. Like I've never done deep ocean swimming. Again, I remember a friend of mine who lived on the northern beaches of Sydney, and he said when he went snorkeling and whatnot, when you went out past the continental shelf, like you'd be at beach, swim out a bit further with your snorkel, beach, and there'd be all this fucking weird swaying seaweed where the lengths of it were about 20 meters or something, swaying and the continental shelf just drops
away, and you just go, oh my God.
Snorkeling out, and he says, you can't help hearing the Jaws theme when you go out past the continental shelf and you know it's dropping down a couple of miles. You just hear. There's no sharks. There are no sharks. You don't see any sharks.
There's no. Yeah,
but you hear the Jaws thing.
Yeah, and the thing about the other thing too, and especially in Australia, is you get a thing called a rip.
Oh my God, that's what kills you in Australia, the fucking rips.
What happens is that the water comes into the beach, right? And then it rolls under itself and goes back out to sea. That's wonderful, but there's so much water coming into the beach that it actually follows the down channels to get back out to the sea. And there are many down channels, and what you get is a lot of water going very fast back out to sea. And if you get caught in that, you'll get taken wham straight out to the deep. And what happens is people freak out and they try and swim against it because they're being taken away from the beach.
Yeah.
And what you do is you swim across it
to get from where there's not a rip.
There's not a rip. Now, unless you're a really good swimmer, and then you just fucking let it take you.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, rip's finished. And you swim, 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 and then you bring the next wave in.
Oh, sorry, Shonto Maple Leaf is saying Bondi Beach is fucked for rips. No, that's what we call the Bronte Express.
Yeah.
There is literally a rip that goes. There is a whole bunch of beaches on the eastern suburbs of Sydney. There's Bondi, Bronte, Tamarama, and whatever. And if you get caught in a particular rip on Bondi, you just fucking let it carry you for kilometres. Because it will carry you for kilometres, and it will carry you around to a completely different beach.
To Bronte.
And then you go, and we would call that the Bronte Express. You get caught in this shitty rip on Bondi, and you just fucking go with it. You stop struggling, and it will carry you all the way around the point to a completely different beach, Bronte Beach.
And if your mates are really good, they'll come and get you.
Yeah, they'll go up on the beach and get in their car and drive around to Bronte and pick you up.
If they're tards, they fucking leave you there, the bastards, and you got to get an Uber.
Tamarama, we called it the Tamarama Door Slammer because the same deal. With Tamarama one, there was Tamarama, Bronte, Bondi. The Tamarama one would take you all the way to fucking Bondi, which was a long way. If you got caught in a rip, the Bondi one was relatively easy to survive. You just had to relax, and it would take you around to Bronte. If you got caught in the Tamarama one, that would go for a really fucking long time, and you had to be really confident. Tamarama Door Slammer.
Patient. You have to be patient.
This is like an hour. It takes an hour for the Tamarama Door Slammer to take you around to Bondi.
You've just got to be patient. You've just got to
fucking. The instant you fight against it, you're fucked. You're fucked.
Right? You've got to just be patient. And you see everything. You see the surf lifesaver people come out with their boat and you say, thank you, Jesus.
I was at Bondi once and I wasn't caught in the fucking Bronte Express, but it was shit. And the water was over my head and I was like, let's just fucking tread water for a while and see what happens. And the surf lifesaver came out on a jet ski and basically told me I was a dickhead.
Because they always do. You got to swim between the flags or you're a cocknut.
And I was like, no, dude, we're okay. I'm calm. All is good. I'm just treading water till this shit settles down. But yeah, the main thing is if the Bondi guys think you're panicking, they'll take you back into shore. And the guy's just gone and going, you should be between the flags, man. I went, yep. We're okay. We're okay. I'm just going to tread water for a couple of minutes to see what's happening. And I've never had to be pulled in by a surf lifesaver. But like I've literally had one go past me on a jet ski, caught me a dickhead.
I had one once come past me and said, "You're right." And I said, "Oh, actually, I'm okay, but there's a kid out there who's freaking. Yeah. I'm actually trying to get out to him."
Yeah.
Because I just come out for a fucking body surf, but he's losing his fucking mind. You better go get him.
Yeah.
And so he's going, what? Oh, shit. And so he's taken off and gone to get this kid and got him and then come back past me and said, want to lift? I'm going, Oh, yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
right. So I got a lift on the board, and he's on the back going, and they took him and they gave him some diazepam and they put him in an ambulance.
Yeah. I mean, I've had friends who were surfers who have found bodies in.
Yeah.
So they're face down and they've gone, oh, that doesn't look good.
Better put him on the board.
And they've made the mistake. They've flipped them over. And in some cases, the person drowned 2 days ago and has been face down in the water for 2 days. And little fish have been nibbling on them for 2 days. And they've gone, is this guy okay? And they've flipped them over. And it looks like something from The Walking Dead. Like
It's not okay.
all the flesh has been eaten off. And they've gone, oh, God, I shouldn't have turned him over. That's fucking terrible.
Because you get the surfers who see bodies and the practiced ones, they'll grab the hair and the armpit and just drag them onto the board and then just...
They won't flip them over and look at them.
Not flip them over. They'll just take them in and the surf lifesavers will meet them and they'll just push the board to them and go, there he is.
Someone who's been face down for a couple of days, it's not good.
Not okay.
It's not good.
It's not okay.
Oh, God, Gecko, I noticed you're putting, you don't have to worry about kangaroos breaking into your apartment. That's a thing that has actually happened.
Actually, it does. It does happen.
It's happened in Canberra because there's a lot of sort of the bordering on the rural areas of Canberra. Kangaroos breaking through people's windows and freaking out.
They break through windows because they smell something to eat.
Yeah, and they don't know what glass is.
They don't know what glass is, and often they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But if you've got a screen door, forget it.
Yeah.
They're straight through,
right.
and then they're around looking for stuff, and then they'll start smashing shit in your kitchen till they hit the toaster.
Yeah.
And the toaster will spew toast, and it's like, oh, I found it. Nom, 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 nom. And then they'll look at you going, what?
Yeah, if you want to see funny pictures, you just do an internet search for photos of jacked red kangaroos. Because male red kangaroos who stand over 2 meters tall look jacked as fuck. They look like weightlifters.
Oh,
they're frightening.
They've got these big chest muscles, which they don't need.
Yeah.
Because their arms are little.
The greys are okay because the greys are only about half to 2/3 the size of a red. But a Western red...
Which means they're 1.5 meters. They're as tall...
They're as tall as a person.
Taller than you.
A grey is slightly shorter than a person or as tall as a person. And a Western...
And stronger.
Oh, yeah, they're stronger. A Western red is fucking bigger than a person.
Just like a fucking tank.
And they look jacked. There's this weird thing that Western reds look like they're on steroids.
Yeah.
And it's weird as fuck. Toronto Maple says you have a problem with deers crashing through windows. Yeah. I've said this in live streams before, the weirdest one I ever had, when I was in Sydney, I had a girlfriend who grew up in Wagga Wagga, which is a country area near the border of Victoria and New South Wales. And when I went back with her once to visit her family, the local paper had a story of a guy who'd been driving down the highway in his ute and he hit a roo, which instead of just fucking bouncing off the guy, came through the windscreen and hit the passenger seat, and it actually speared straight through the passenger seat. He didn't have a passenger, thank fuck, because the person would have been impaled on a fucking kangaroo. As it turned out, the kangaroo, which was dead as fuck, went through the windshield and speared right through the passenger seat of this vehicle. How embarrassed would you be to die being speared by a kangaroo? Like, you get to the pearly gates, and how did you die?
Well,
I was impaled on a fucking kangaroo.
Okay, we haven't had that before.
I mean, and this was pure blind luck. Like, this guy might have been driving with a mate. There was no planning involved. The kangaroo might have gone through the driver's seat and impaled the fucking driver and killed him. But it went straight through, like its head was straight through the passenger seat in the car. And this is just fucking insane.
The other thing you've got to watch for is wedge-tail eagles.
Oh my God,
because they get very territorial.
Yep.
Right? Now, they're the best story I've ever heard. Okay, what's classic is they will fight aeroplanes.
Yeah, wedge-tails are bigger than like American bald eagles, right?
Right, if you're driving a Cessna through their territory, they will come in over the top
and start ripping up your Cessna.
Because they're really true. There are some very funny videos on YouTube of guys in motorized hang gliders. I forget what they're called. What are they called?
Ultralights.
Ultralights. And they've got a camera, like they've got a GoPro on their ultralight, and a wedgie starts fucking going them. And their initial thing is, this is kind of funny, a wedgie is going me.
And then they go,
ripping. The wedgie is actually trying to destroy my ultralight. I might die. The shift between, this is kind of funny, a wedgie is monstering me, and when the sudden realization the wedgie is trying to kill me and I might die, is pretty fucking funny when this guy suddenly starts diving, trying to get out of the wedgies. Wedgies take down drones all the time.
All the time. Okay, so there's this ranger, and he pulls up at this gate. It's got the several padlocks on it, so several services can get in. And he goes, righto, there's a wedgie sitting on the post of the gate. And the wedgie's looking at him. He's looking at the wedgie going, I don't want to take on the wedgie.
They're big and belligerent.
They're big and they're kind of nasty. I don't know if he's taken that post as his territory or if he's just resting. I'll wait here until he flies off. And the wedgie's looking at him. And the wedgie's obviously thinking, I'll wait here till he flies off.
Yep.
And then the wedgie made the first move by flying up, smashing through his front windscreen, freaking out, and flapping his wings, and broke his friggin' arm and nose before he went out the back window. So don't upset a wedgie.
Yeah, I'm gonna search while we're talking. Wedge
tailed eagle.
Yeah, wedge tail versus drone.
Yeah.
Versus ultralight. Ultra.
There you go.
Right.
Light to you.
But yeah, so you look at eagle versus drone. Oh, that's the one I've seen. You see this one here? It's a guy in a fucking ultralight and a wedgie goes in. Like seriously, if you want to laugh, go on YouTube and search either wedge tail versus drone or wedge tail versus ultralight. And I swear to God, the one with this guy, and he's like, it's like a what do you call it?
Like a hang glider?
Yeah, it's like a motorized hang glider. It's a guy on a motorized hang glider. And when a wedgie initially starts assaulting him, he's kind of laughing like, this is kind of wild. A wedgie doesn't like me. And then a wedgie starts shredding his canopy. Whoops. And he goes, I might die here. And the idea of a wedgie fucking killing you suddenly takes on all sorts of importance. And it's absolutely hilarious because it literally starts with the guy like essentially laughing like, oh, the wedgie doesn't like me. And then the wedgie starts ripping his canopy and he goes, oh, I might die here. And just, you know, humans versus things that are not in a normal human. It's like a human versus a shark. A human's going to lose. A flying human in an ultralight versus a wedgie is at incredible risk. It's so dangerous.
And there's stories of skydivers.
Oh yeah, attacking parachutes.
Who haven't actually deployed their parachute, and they're skydiving along, and a wedge tail comes on, and they're going, oh, this is bad. I've got a deployment parachute, but if I do, it's going to rip it apart.
Yeah.
Oh. And it tries to bat the thing away, and the thing's got talons like scratch, rip.
Yeah,
and
wedgies are fucking wrapped.
You've just basically got to hope another skydiver will come and give it a boot up the arse, and then it'll fly away enough so that you can canopy out and down.
Wedgies are very much dinosaur-related raptors.
Really, 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 really territorial. So you work out where the territory is, and then you get a bunch of indigenous people with number 7 boomerangs to fucking throw it at them, and then they leave.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because drones have proved very useful for a whole range of purposes. And the good drones can cost $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000.
And they're very good for farming. They're really good for farming.
And they're using them for mapping territory and all these things. But you go into certain areas and the wedgies just go, I don't fucking like that at all.
Not in my place. No, you got to go.
And they're not the biggest eagle in the world, but they ain't the fucking smallest, I'll tell you that much for free. And they will just go, I don't like you.
And they always attack from above.
Yes, yes, yeah. And that's the funny thing. Some of the videos on YouTube are so fucking funny because the drone's just happily going along, or the person in the ultralight is happily going along, not a care in the world, and death from above.
Yes, indeed. Right. Me and Angry are going to bail.
Yeah, I think we've had a job. Christ, we must have been doing this for like 3 hours.
Yeah, but we're cool.
We're men. We can do this.
And very soon we're going to do a podcast.
We keep threatening to do a podcast.
Well,
Videocast, podcast.
Uncle AIDzee's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah.
And has been working on said. So we're going to have a meeting about it in the next month.
Yes.
And look out for the podcast.
Yep. So, look, honestly, that's us talking about a podcast or a podcast. Yeah, wanting to be a pal, giving you something that you can listen to for an hour or so. You know, maybe you're commuting to work, maybe you're doing housework.
What I'm saying.
Maybe you're masturbating for an hour. We don't judge.
We don't judge.
We don't
judge. We're not allowed to. It'd be hypocritical.
Yeah, because we're awful people.
You know, some of us have committed all 10 sins of the commandment.
We are awful, terrible people. Yeah. Some of us dressed up as Hitler for our last day of school. I'm not saying which of us it was, but
I wasn't allowed to dress up as Hitler. For
some of us, like when you hear it's hilarious. You hear, oh, this person dressed as blackface. That's terrible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Blackface is terrible. I can't imagine dressing up as Hitler. I can't imagine anyone doing that. You'd have to be a real fucked unit to do that.
Some of my friends put stamps on my back for my last day of school because his shirt gets all ripped up and signed. And some of my friends put stamps on my back, and I didn't know what they were. And my mum told me, and I was quite embarrassed because they had large elements of homosexuality.
Yeah, I'm trying to make people ask me, why would you do something so bad? It's like, because I was a teenager and a fucking moron. That would be the top of the list of reasons. I was a fucking idiot.
Thing is, the girls also had stamps, and they put them on the front of me so I could see them, and I was quite flattered by that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of flattered by the ones on the back too. Yes, they didn't call me double adapter for nothing.
Yeah. So I reckon I'll probably walk AIDzee to a tram stop or something.
I think it's a fine idea.
Yeah. And bid or you find people farewell. My goodness gracious, golly me, hasn't it been a fun adventure though? It's
been an excellent adventure, and I hope to see you soon before I am taken with the clutches of hospital again.
Yeah, fuck knows how long he's been going to be out of circulation. Sometimes it's like a day, sometimes it's 6 months.
Sometimes 6 months.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you all posted. So you all look after yourselves. We'll do our collective best to look after ourselves.
Yeah.
And we will say goodbye for now.
See you guys.
Bye.